but was she living in a sense of reality where it was compounding, where there's too much pressure? I've got to perform at work, I've got to go to work tomorrow to be this person that everyone wants me to be, I've got to earn this money to support my lifestyle, I've got to be this friend to everybody else. Like, all these things become so much pressure that you just disconnect from them. And
right. And I think she probably, a lot of this was just not based on reality. I was actually just had a guest on, actually from New Zealand, prior to you.
Good.
And he was explaining that the brain really can't distinguish between what's real and what's make-believe.
It struggles. I mean,
when they have
around me, I want to have all these people in my life. I want to be successful and look to be successful, and people look up to me in regards to all these things I have, which is a family home and a dog and a boat and a partner, which we're engaged to get married, and kids on the way. And that's what I thought success was. I really did. I really thought that, hey, I've got this right, and. Off the back of that relationship, it started to go like really downhill because it just unraveled. It was like the fabric, like literally you pull a thread and the fabric starts to unravel.
What can you say to somebody to bring them back from the brink? Or is there anything?
Dude,
at the end of the day, it has to come from them, right?
It does, absolutely. It's like kicking addiction or making decisions in your life in general, to unmask, to move in a different direction. Absolutely 100% it's that person's decision, and it's only their decision. Like, if you force that's exactly the same thing as what we're talking about, like, putting external pressure on to perform.
You're basically saying, take this mask off and put on another one.
100%, exactly right. Perfect. So very much like me then.
I can look through a room that just got painted, and I can say, oh, you missed there, and you missed there, and you missed there.
Yep. So pattern recognition, right?
And the thing is, I can't help it. Like, I can't. It's you might as well paint it with hot pink.
Exactly.
The spots that were missed. I mean, it could be white on white, but I'd spot it like it was hot pink. It's just like. So today's conversation is all about something we all wrestle with, the mask we wear.
Absolutely.
And I have today with me Arran Rowley. He's the founder of Unmask. He's built a career by playing the part the world expected him to play. And the weight of that performance eventually caught up with him, leading to a complete breakdown. So out of that lowest point, he's rebuilt his life and committed to helping others drop the mask and live authentically. From executives to creatives to parents, Arran guides people back to the way they really are. Arran, welcome to Vibe Your Vibe. And I always forget to mention my name just in case people don't know. This is Kirk Francis. So thanks for joining me today. This was a bit of a challenge to put together. We had a couple of cancellations on both of our parts.
Yep.
And we had a Zoom call that didn't work out too well. So anyway, I'm really happy that we're able to see each other and talk, and I'm really happy. I don't know if I have much to say.
It's been a little bit of a journey to get to where we got to, because obviously we had the original recording we did together and had a really good chat over a good length of time, and that was real cool. And we went to some pretty interesting places with the conversation. So, but obviously all happened for a reason. So we're here now, and we're doing take two and having a good chat about it, and where things are at, and where you're at, and where I'm at, and we can go from there.
Yeah. So the mask.
Yes.
What is it?
It's the thing that all of us probably, aren't probably so much aware of, we're all wearing it, but it's something we all wear at some point in our life. And a lot of people wear, I guess, multiple masks, not just one. So that might be in an environment, whether it be in a home environment, school environment, work environment, that sort of things. And, it's listening to the external noise that pushes you in the direction of not being yourself. So, when we're working for a boss and they put us under pressure and we don't openly speak out, whether that be, you're in a room, an environment where there might be a unethical comment made or a direction pushed, and because of your status in or your pecking order in that environment, you decide not to speak up and not to be yourself. So you just go against who you actually are, and then you tend to find yourself in positions and around people that don't actually suit you as a person. And I can guarantee at some point in your life, no matter who you are, you would have come across that, whether that be and family environments are a good one, where you don't speak up because you're worried about keeping the peace, and that creates this tension and creates this toxic environment where no one really is able to actually be themselves and actually speak their mind and actually help, be supportive and constructive to being positive and moving forward. So yeah, we can talk about it in length and in depth, and it's I'm not immune to it, and I spent a lot of my life trying to understand it and trying to figure out why society is the way it is, and also why I was the way I was. And it came at a dear cost at one point.
Yeah. So maybe you could talk to us, if you're okay, a little bit about your journey.
Sure.
And the mask you were wearing.
Yeah, sure, no problems at all. Grew up in a reasonably interesting is probably the best way of putting it. Interesting and sort of broken environment as a child. Very much the way New Zealand families live, with having two parents that one either works one full-time job, or the mum stays home, or they both work full-time jobs, trying to support the children, getting a property and sort of settling down, and then paying that property off over a sort of a 20 or 30 year period. And that seemed to be the life in New Zealand during my upbringing. All of my friends and families were doing the same thing, and that came at that wasn't the cause of the cost, but like from my parents, they were divided amongst the pressures of trying to keep the roof over our head, but also things that were external noises that came from the outside. And I had a really interesting upbringing with my dad and his pressures that were put on top of me as a person. And I played sport at a really high level, and the push to play sport at a really high level was, I guess, an external noise for me in a sense. I did love playing the sports I played, but at the same time, it wasn't all me. It was, my dad, a lot of it pushing me in all those directions and wanting me to be that. And, a lot of the love and the unconditional love in those environments only really came from succeeding. It only came from being, winning a tournament or playing at a high level sport, or like making a representative team, or those sort of things. And I'm not saying there wasn't love around my family home and that sort of stuff, because it definitely was, but the conditions that were around a lot of that love made it, and as a child, you don't understand those things because you're only learning these things as you go along, So you become conditioned to thinking that conditions are the way you need to love people, rather than you're loving them for what they do rather than what they actually are. And that was a lot of my childhood and upbringing. And then moving into my sort of teenage years, I went through a lot of challenges. I was quite academic, coming through primary school and out of primary school, and then went into college, and it mainly became about sports. So I was making like top sports teams and representative teams at high school, and national squads. Played for the national squad at high school, and that one thing led to another, and I was engaged with a girl at school, or not at school, when I came out of school. So I met her at school, and then got engaged at a young age, and the pressures of that started to creep up on me as well. Being a child that's growing up with very minimal skill sets to understand how to actually be an adult and how to love unconditionally and how to be supportive in the right ways, going into being this high performing sports person, to then jumping into a full in-depth relationship and being engaged at a young age, like straight out of high school, pretty much was not saying it was right or wrong, but it was definitely a challenge because I didn't have the skill set to actually deal with it. And then that came crashing down on my ears. That there was a start, I guess, of masking, unmasking, whichever way you want to look at it, me understanding that what all this was about. And I separated from that partner, and that came at a cost to me as well, financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I made that decision because somehow I made that decision based on me not being emotionally mature enough to better handle that relationship and to better actually do it justice. So we decided to separate and move out, go on our separate ways. And looking back on it now, it was definitely for the better, because I think if I'd stayed in that relationship, I would have repeated the same patterns my parents had brought me up on, and created those same sort of traumas and those same sort of things I was growing up on, you know. So moved from that space, and then I spent the next, I would say, probably 2 or 3 years really going beyond the depths I should have probably gone to. We're talking, you know, drugs, gangs, abusive women, and I don't mean by physical abuses and me hitting them, that sort of stuff, but as in just like going through a lot of girls in regards to not really being emotionally available for them, and just having girlfriends on and off for a very long period of time. And that was the real, I guess, the massive start of the collapse, to be honest. It was really starting to head down the wrong path and causing me a whole lot of problems. Went through a whole lot of jobs in that process, and had a lot of friends come and go, and caused me a whole lot of issues in my life. At one point, I decided to, because of what I was going through, I decided to step away from it. I decided to just go cold turkey on it. The people I was involved, the dangerous guys I was around, that sort of stuff, I just decided to drop it all on its head and to say, I'm out, I'm done. It was just a moment where I just saw clarity amongst it all, and went, I don't know where I'm going here, but it's either going to be in prison or dead. So I stepped away from it, and yeah, to this day, touch wood, I haven't had anything to do with that world. So it's been I guess an enlightening moment in my life, which still had a lot of, you know, murky areas to it, because I still like to figure out a whole lot of things, but it allowed me to sort of go, okay, I've got a chance here, I need to move in the right direction and keep pushing, putting one foot in front of the other towards the right thing. So yeah,
you cut the drugs too, cold turkey.
Yeah, so cold turkey. So I was pretty heavily addicted to MDMA. I was pretty heavily addicted to cocaine. When I say addicted, I mean I cut it cold turkey, so I wasn't that addicted to it, but I was addicted to the lifestyle. The lifestyle it afforded me. We talk about masks, you know. When I'd turn up to parties and I was, you know, the life of the party, and I had the drugs for people and that sort of stuff, I was the person, you know. I was the person that everyone wanted to be around. I was the person that everyone wanted to love and be connected to and chat to and have conversations with, you know. And that made me feel somewhat amazing in the moments, and really, you know, empowered to be this person that everyone wanted to be around. But it was all false. It was all based on falsities, and because I guess I didn't have that, you know, that mature emotional grounding to be able to actually pull it apart properly as I was going through it. I just went deeper and deeper, and to a point where it was chaotic. Like I was bent out of shape. You know, 6 days out of 7, some days 7 out of 7.
Oh wow!
You know, trying to work, trying to do, you know, life, trying to be straight for around my family so they didn't pick up on anything. And yeah, it taught me a lot about myself in regards to how deep I'm prepared to go to try to find anything, to be honest. And when I got to that point, how far it has actually come back. You know, when you're at the bottom of that pit, or when you're at the bottom of that mountain looking up, it's a long way up. And trying to, like, you know, build back to where you actually should be.
A bit. I think if I remember right, weren't you doing quite well, I guess, in terms of the way the world measures success at that time? Yeah,
for sure. You know, prior to, I guess, heading down that dark road, or what I class as dark, you know, a high-level sports person. I had a minor injury towards the end of my schooling career, which put me back in a space I didn't really want to be, because I was looking to go professional straight out of school, but that didn't end up happening. And then, you know, regardless whether it was professional sport or whether it was you know, family and you know, being grounded, which is what I did have, which was engaged, looking to have children. You know, I had a family home. I bought up my own family home at the age of 20 or 21. So, you know, I'm from the outside looking in, the world's thinking this guy's got his head screwed on, like he's going places, and he's, you know, I had a job, but it's like a really good job. Yeah, 100%. And I had a really good job, and you
didn't have anything together. Is what you're saying.
Exactly right. Like the mask was that screwed onto my face that you know, there was no cracks anywhere. It was just this person is this person, and actually he's not this person. He's actually this person, and I knew that person behind the scenes. And you know, I can't emphasize enough how draining it is mentally. Not so much physically, but definitely mentally, which obviously affects physical sides because you come home knackered. How draining it is to be like that all the time, and it got worse from there. So that was one part of my life where I was, you know, able to wear one heavy mask, which was I love to be this person. I want to be the people that are around me. I want to have all these people in my life. I want to be successful and look to be successful, and people look up to me in regards to all these things I have, which is a family home and a dog and a boat and you know a partner, which we're engaged to get married and kids on the way. And that's what I thought success was. I really did. I really thought that, hey, I've got this right, you know. And off the back of that relationship, it started to go like really downhill because it just unraveled. It was like the fabric, like literally pull a thread and the fabric starts to unravel because none of it was built on anything. It was all built on falsity, you know, and the relationships didn't exist, and the friends that you thought were friends aren't friends, and these things started to fall apart. And there wasn't a surefire pivot out of any of those moments to be able to go, okay, if I stop here and pivot here, I'm going to be okay and it's going to be all right. It wasn't. It would just keep unraveling. No matter what I did, it was the next thing on the chart and chasing the next thing, and then I just keep tumbling, keep falling. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how many years did you struggle with that?
From 20 to 32, 33, so 12-ish years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the story goes a bit deeper than that, you know, and I came out of that space for a stint. You know, I came out of the drugs, the gangs, the party animal that I was, the bent out of shape 7 days a week, and worked really hard to sort of try fight that urge to be in that space because, you know, it's, and I speak about addiction with a lot of people a lot, and I have a lot of clients that are actually ex-addicts, and were addicts when they came to me and are now no longer addicts. And I talk about addiction in a way that, like, I wasn't addicted to the substance. You know, don't get me wrong, people think they, like, a lot of the time they are addicted to alcohol or drugs or what it might be, but from what I've seen, and this is purely my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, is people get addicted to the numbingness, to numbing out everything. So it's not the substance itself, it's actually getting addicted to feeling like you can just close the world out, whether it be alcohol. So if you get drunk enough, there's no longer the noise in your head and there's no longer the external environment putting that pressure on you. And I believe that that's a lot of the cause, and the reason why we do that is because we don't want to go back to the reasons why we're doing it in the first place. We're too scared to go ask those questions and too scared to open that Pandora's box and go, what's going on here, and why have I actually created this life for myself, and where does it stem from, and where does it all, you know, where's it all started from? And if I can attack that part of my life and realize that, you know, a lot of guys and ladies that I've dealt with, it's the validation piece. It's not being validated and loved and just loved for who they are. It's always got to be something what they do and how they do it and being successful, and like the way I was, you know, and I was no different. I was looking for the space of the holy grail of being accepted from everybody, parents included, that I was a successful person on the outside, and it came at a huge cost. So yeah, I went from that space there and really tried to turn my life around, and met my now ex-wife in Auckland, and we got together and got engaged and got married and had our first, my first son, Noah. And we moved from Auckland down to the South Island, just to get out of Auckland, because it was just not due to the people I was connected to, but it was just it was just a busy lifestyle, and we wanted something a bit slower. Moved to the South Island, and it continued on. Like, you know, that's in my mid-20s that happened, and then it continued on. So I continued to take that one mask off and put a different color on and re-screw it back to my face again, and then, you know, carry on with that same pathway of what success looked like, which was I chased a corporate career. I chased the big money and the fame and the fortune, and it's no different really to the drugs, alcohol, and partying. Like, it's really no different, because it's just on a different scale. Like, I was chasing money, and I was chasing fame, and I was chasing fortune, and I was chasing this space of who I was my identity was attached to who I was connected to, what things I could do for work, how much money I earned, what vehicle I drove around, and those things were not too dissimilar to the drug space, you know. And it continued to repeat itself, and it came at a cost a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. I fell from grace, and I was earning well and truly into 6 figures when I fell from that place the first time, and I climbed the corporate ladder to the top of the tops, and realized that at the top it was just the same thing. Nothing had changed, and it was all just built on the same things, and the falsities and the masks everybody else wears to try to tell you what they are, and then when you really need them the most, they don't actually exist, or when they do exist, they pull the rug from under your feet, and then you come crashing down. So got to a point when I was 32, on my son's second birthday, which was I would say, I've been to some places when I was going through that dark stuff, when I was going through the drug fueled phase. And suicide was definitely part of the puzzle during that phase. So I attempted to commit suicide 3 times during that phase of, from my early 20s through to my mid 20s. And pretty, not successful, because that's why I'm still here, but I was pretty close to being successful one of those times, to a point wasn't much of a thread hanging on towards the end. And
what carried you on through that? Was there someone, was there a thought?
If you talk to anybody that knows me, really knows me properly, like my wife now, my current wife, or any of my real close friends that I've got, they'll know for a fact that, or they'll tell you for a fact that, I have a really deep, strong backbone, and I don't give up on things easy. So, well, that's due to my ADHD, which we'll come to later, but or whether it's just the way I've seen certain things from growing up, and I had a really strong, I guess, father figure to a certain degree, and my uncle, so my mum's brother, who taught me some really healthy ethics with how you do and don't do things, and potentially that's where it came from. But whenever I was at those last threads of what I was doing, whether it be involved in circles I shouldn't have been in, when I was involved in those early party scenes, or during the depression side of things, where I was wanting to commit suicide, there was always a voice, probably my own voice to be honest, saying it's not here, this is not where it ends, and you need to continue to push on and move from the space, and you'll change things, and you'll make this world better that you currently live in. So that was always said in the back of my brain somewhere, and it was the piece of the puzzle that allowed me to put myself back onto my own feet and walk my path out of those places. And for most of it, I didn't have help. I'm not saying there wasn't people around me and to be able to sort of support me and do things, but there wasn't this massive wraparound professional, I guess, collection of people that were wanting me to get better and pushing me through therapy and that sort of stuff. It was really me putting one foot in front of the other and building my life from scratch, at the age of 30, back to where it needs to be, which was, it was brutal. It was such a brutal path to walk, and I don't wish on anybody that has to go through that thing, because most people, statistically, most people don't walk through it. And they fall through the crack, and it's the end of it, and I've seen it. I've sat with people that are in their last moments, and it's horrific, to be honest. So is there any message somebody can tell somebody if they're, I lost a friend, and I remember her telling me, I'm just tired, I don't want to see another day. Yep.
And I begged her to find somebody professional. I'm like, I'm not equipped to help you. I don't know. I know you're in pain, but I go, please. I go, I need you to stay with us. There's no reason to go. And this was a woman that was successful. She had money in the bank. But she's still fighting those demons, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. I'm still struggling. What can you say to somebody to bring them back from the brink, or is there anything?
Dude,
at the end of the day, it has to come from them, right?
It does, absolutely. It's like kicking addiction, or making decisions in your life in general, to unmask, to move in a different direction. Absolutely, 100% it's that person's decision, and it's only their decision. If you force that's exactly the same thing as what we're talking about. Putting external pressure on to perform.
You're basically saying, take this mask off and put on another one.
100%. It's exactly right. exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing that there's two sides to it, right? So the biggest thing that the people that are on the dark side of that table is there's always hope. I promise you that. Like, I can't say that enough. And I say it to a lot of people I deal with. Like, there's always a way. There's absolutely always a way. It's never the end. You can by all means cut this piece out if you really want to, but I'll give the viewers and the listeners a very vivid picture. Like, I've dealt with a guy that's had the noose around his neck, standing on top of a chair, that's ready to jump off, and he's on a video call to me while we're having this conversation. And it's the same thing as what you had with that person you were talking about, and they're disconnected from reality, and the emotional detachment is what allows them to go do those things, which is to commit suicide. And in that moment, all I said was, "This isn't it. This isn't it. Like, this is not where it ends. This is you've still got life in you, and there's always a way back from this place." And when I was going through,
trying to plant a seed of hope.
Yeah.
Can you just repeat that for me, please?
Yeah. So when people are in those moments where it's dark, and I wouldn't imagine many people will come across many people that are that deep where it's those actual last moments where they're in those
actual last moments. But my friend, I mean, it was like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But she's already telling me, like, is that one of the symptoms people tell you? I'm tired. I've heard that from more than one person that's ended up doing this.
Absolutely.
I'm
tired of trying to be someone they're not. So tired of just.
Is that the motivation of Unmasked?
I mean, for me, I'm
trying to help as many people as you can that are tired.
Yeah.
And then that potentially leading to a very dark place.
Absolutely. I mean, wearing a mask is not the absolute catalyst to being suicidal and being down that path.
No.
But from what I can see, and this is not a professional opinion, this is just from what the thousands of people I've worked with, touched base with, been in contact with, it's definitely parallel to a lot of statistical evidence that, when we're not actually ourselves, and we're living a life that's based on external noise and input. 100%. I mean, I talk about this a lot with people. Like, what do you think midlife crisis is? And what do you think mourning is when you're dying? Like, it's the pressure of, I didn't live who I was meant to live like, and I've got so much to do still. Like, the midlife crisis is, what am I doing with my life? Why haven't I done what I need to do? I'm going to pivot now to go travel the world for 6 months, or go buy a sports car that's worth $300,000. Those things are like this complete flip on reality to try grab hold of something that you actually own. And people can go through it earlier than midlife, and a lot of people would struggle with the fact that they're balancing that day to day. Come home to the life they've built where they don't have a healthy relationship with their kids or their wife, and they're trying to build that day to day. Just before we completely segue and sidetrack, I'll come back to that comment you just made about what that comment was that I said. It's just when people in those moments just really just sit there, and you got to have the backbone to realize that this person, all these people, have made the decision in regards to what they're doing. Like, very rarely can you turn that decision around. It's not normal that you can go, this person's now on death's door, I'm just going to grab them out and pull them out of the space. It doesn't usually happen like that. It's usually they're committed to it, and that's what's happening, whether you like it or not. So, if you've got the backbone to sit with that person and be in those moments with that person, just be there and just say, this isn't it. And there is more to this story, and I can promise you there's always a way back from this. There's always a way out. And, allowing connection to happen is what brings people back from those places. So the disconnect, just give you some context, like the disconnect emotionally from reality is what will allow them to go through with the act. Because if you're connected to anything in this world, whether it be a cat or a dog or a mum or a dad, there's remorse, there's pain of, if I do this, these people are going to feel the hurt and the pain of what I do through. But when someone does do that sort of thing, there's usually not that connection. It's usually complete disconnect. So they're allowed to they're able to go through without remorse.
For her though, she was hurting so bad. She had lost her father and 2 very close friends, and she was just hurting on top of other things. I mean, it was just
compounding, right? And what life was she living? Had she created I don't know her story at all, but was she living in a sense of reality where compounding, where there's too much pressure. I've got to perform at work. I've got to go to work tomorrow to be this person that everyone wants me to be. I've got to earn this money to support my lifestyle. I've got to be this friend to everybody else. Like, all these things become so much pressure that you just disconnect from them. And
right. And I think a lot of this was just not based on reality. I was actually just had a guest on, actually from New Zealand, prior to you.
Good.
And he was explaining that the brain really can't distinguish between what's real and what's make believe.
It struggles. I mean,
when they have this soft talk, the self talk going on, saying, "I can't make it another day. I'm tired. This is just too much."
Mm-hmm. Well, it becomes reality. It does, absolutely. And I say, like, to a lot of people, like, perception's not 9/10th reality. It's 10/10ths of reality. Like, it's 100% of reality. Like, what you perceive and what you're looking at from your own eyes, from how you bring in that information, whether it be listening, whether it be watching, whether it be talking, or conversing between two people, that's your reality. And if I sit there and watch the same conversation, or I sit in the conversation with you, I'm receiving all the information completely differently. Whether it be the color of the room, whether it be the tone of the guy's or girl's voice, like, it's my perception, it's my reality. So it's different for everybody, and people don't like fully grasp that concept, because, you know, when you're in a room full of people, you think that everybody's receiving the exact same stuff exactly the same way, and it's built on traumas, it's built on life experiences, it's built on who you have and who you haven't talked to. Like, there's so many different things going through your brain at those times, and it's a major thing most people miss. Like, it's
right. The example he gave was kind of interesting. I'm just going to repeat it. And he's like, you know, you're in a room, two people are interviewing a guy or having the conversation, and the guy leaves and they talk to each other like, "Oh my God, that guy was so wonderful. What a nice person." And the other person like, "That guy is such a jerk. Yep. What, are you kidding me?" And he said the exact same things you were saying. And it's just, I just want to repeat it because I think it's worth repeating. It's like, maybe he was wearing a cologne that triggered a past trauma. And that's all it was. It had nothing to do with how he behaved, had nothing to do with how he looked, but it had everything to do with what cologne he put on, because it triggered a response, because that sense of smell is an amazing, I think, is it stronger than, I think it's one of the strongest memory as far as recalling memories is smell. And, you know, maybe that sense of smell was the cologne somebody had on when they violated this person and at a young age or something. It could have happened 2 decades, 3 decades ago. Doesn't matter. And this person, if you try to get them to think rationally on why they didn't like that person, they probably couldn't come up with anything, right? But they just don't like them, and they think they're mean and a jerk and everything else. And that's what you're talking about, is your 10 out of 10 perception of what reality is your brain looks at that as 100% real. And sitting down and talking with somebody like yourself and finding out, trying to get to this root of who we really are, is you can kind of help guide, you know, what is your sense of perception of what reality is, and maybe crack that open a little bit to say, hey, maybe you need to take another look at this.
Absolutely. Initially, like, you know, just to give complete clarity with people that are, you know, that will watch this or be exposed to this, because a lot of the time when I work with people, you know, scared's probably not the right word, but I'll use that. Like, scared's, you know, when they come into this environment, is you're worried that we're going to go into this massive deep hole, like that it's going to crack open this whole entire childhood trauma thing. It really doesn't start like that, and it doesn't actually end up like that either. It's more a case of asking the right questions at the right time. And, you know, I speak to people a lot about my pattern recognition. So I spoke to you about this last time we caught up as well. Like, my pattern recognition is extremely acute, and it's got probably a lot to do with ADHD and potentially a little bit of autism that I have. But when I'm sitting with people, and even watching you, Kirk, right now, and the footage, like, your body language tells me everything I need to know. The way you hold your voice, the way you engage with me, the way your tone is, everything. Like, you don't actually even need to tell me any stories. I can tell by the way you're doing things. how you're receiving me, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether there's something tied behind this, whether you've got a motive or not. Like all these things are going through my brain at a million miles an hour, and it's natural and
Your
it's organic the
superpower.
way. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't like to. I'm the first person to like not put myself on a pedestal because of what I've been through, but it just
No,
gives
I'm
people
not
some
saying that,
some-
but I'm just saying that, but those, because I got ADD, I don't have ADHD,
Mhm.
but it's like a superpower. And sometimes it's, try to find always the silver lining in it, but it's, frustrating
sword.
for frustrating for my wife because I can spot a flaw in a second.
Yep. Perfect.
Like,
So very much like me then.
I can look through a room that just got painted, and I can say, "Oh, you missed there, and you missed there, and you missed there."
Yep. So pattern
I can't,
recognition, right?
and the thing is, I can't help it. Like I can't. It's
Yep.
like it's just like you might as well paint it with hot pink.
Exactly
The spots that were missed. I mean, it could be white on white, but I'd spot it like it was hot pink. It's just like screams at me.
So
I don't
yeah,
know
to
how
give
else
that
to
context to
describe
you,
it.
that's exactly the same as me with people. Like there's nothing you can do in an environment with me that won't tell me what I need to know. So if you
So
just
you
be
have it on the level of EQ. I don't have that.
yeah,
So that's
and it's
oh
acute.
wow,
It's
that's
stupidly
fascinating.
acute. And the worst thing is, for me, like I said to you, it's very much double-edged sword because if I'm sitting in a room full of people, it's happening with everybody in the room. So if you imagine there's 30 people in the room, it's 30 people's like literally information going through my head at the same time of what's happening in the room with different people. So like you said, gave context to before, when people walk out of the room and they go, that guy was nice, I'll be like, what were you watching? And what were you looking at? Did you see this, and this happen? And they're like, I did, but I didn't realize that was what it was. I was like, that's exactly what it is. And then a few weeks later, we'll find out that that person was a right, dick, and like it was actually doing things he shouldn't have been doing or she shouldn't have been doing. And I'm like, that's what I was talking about, and I can't turn it off. Like I know, no matter how hard I try, my brain won't let me turn that off, which is a gift and a curse at the same time because there's times where I would absolutely love to be able to just to turn that part of my brain off and just like be still. And I find that in certain places, and we can talk about that a little bit later as well with how it feels to be completely like in a serene environment where I find serenity in different tasks and different things I do. And we talked a little bit about scuba diving in the past, and scuba diving is definitely one of those things for me. But yeah, I going back to that story. Yeah, I mean, it's for me. It's to give you context in regards to what you said before. Like you said, that guy, the last guy on the podcast mentioned, that potentially, and you talked about that cologne that set that person off. Judging a book by its cover is a good example of that. The reason why that saying exists is we walk into a room, you and me, Kirk, we sit in front of this person, whether it's a CEO or a next person on the podcast, and we're receiving the information they're giving us completely differently. And it's because of like prior perceived conceptions in our brain that what we actually come to conclusions on.
Or traumas.
Yeah, or traumas, absolutely. And let's be honest, people hate using the word trauma, but I love using it because it's true. Like if it's a negative experience, no matter what it is, I'm not talking about you being stabbed or being raped or that sort of stuff, although that is part of it. I'm talking about like micro traumas where, someone said something to you in regards to what the hell are you wearing that outfit for, or that color you're wearing today's shit, or like whatever it might be. And those are like mini micro traumas all the time.
Yeah, you're not very successful because you drive that kind of a car.
100%.
That car, they might not say it like that, but they might say, man, why do you drive beaters all the time? Can't you get a new decent car?
So can you imagine if this is happening all the time in your brain and you're around these people? And the worst thing is, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm asking, is you create this environment. Like, so you're actually creating this trauma for yourself. So the people you're around, the environment you're around, and the people you're like, the situations you come in context with, is all built on what you do. So you're putting those people in your life, you're putting those environments in your life, you're putting those work environments in your life, you're putting all these things into your life because they're built on the mask. They're built on, at one point you might have driven a car that speaks nothing about you as a person, but because you've wanted to drive this nice car to impress people, you're now surrounded by people that love nice cars. So when you drive a shitty car, what do you think happens?
Right.
They just rip you to pieces and they pull you down. So now it becomes a negative environment, and if you get caught in that environment, you get stuck in it and you can't get away from it. And it becomes
if you're wearing that mask.
100%. Absolutely.
Like me, I had a car, and it was a very nice car. It was an Infiniti Q50S. It's a very nice car.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it because I went and I test drove it, and it had, and the reason why I bought it is I had my oldest was learning how to drive, and it had the feature of automatic braking.
Yes.
So if they're not paying attention and the car stops in front of them suddenly, it's going to brake and keep them from having an accident. It also had a lane keep, so it'd keep them in the lane. Like if they didn't put their turn signal on to change lanes, you could change lanes, but the car would be you're kind of have to kind of fight it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the reasoning for buying this car. But this was it was a top of the line model, and people were like, oh, driving that car. And then they put tons of miles on it, and I wanted to get rid of it before I ended up having to pay for a bunch of extra miles. So we traded again, got another one. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at you. Now you got another one. It was red, happened to be red. And I told my wife at the time, those cars were around 60,000 US. And I told my wife, I go, if I can buy that car for less, that has at least close to the same features, we're buying that car.
Yep.
And lo and behold, I found a Subaru Crosstrek for $30,000, half the price.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what the next two cars were? Subaru Crosstreks. I mean, they're okay cars, but they're not an Infinity.
They're not what the other one
and
was.
They're not fast or slow.
Mm-hmm.
And, and guess what? Before people would be talking to us because we were in that car, or they were jealous of us because we were in that car. Mm-hmm. Whatever they're judging us based on the car without even knowing why I bought it. Yep. And the same for the Subaru, without ever knowing why I bought the Subaru. I bought the Subaru Absolutely. For the exact same reasons I bought the Infinity.
Yep.
And it was just shocking to me, the reaction people have. We just recently traded again. So we went from a manual Subaru, which we bought because we were hoping my wife could make more money doing a travel job, and we were going to get an RV and pull it behind, so it needed to be manual. So that's why we bought it. We had it for 2 years.
Yes.
That job didn't materialize, and we hated driving that car because of the manual. Mm-hmm. And we just traded it for a top-of-the-line Mazda SUV that also happens to be a plug-in hybrid. Yes. Again, what was the purpose? Is the purpose to show off because we got the big SUV? No. I'm doing this podcast now. I have a lot of gear. I cannot fit another passenger in my car with my full kit in the car.
Yep.
It only fit one person because it's so small.
So you did it for your reasons, right? So like for
our reason, and it's also a plug-in. One last reason, it's plug-in. So my wife's going to be able to drive to and from work, which is going to save us around $80 a month in fuel cost.
Perfect.
She gets free charging at work.
Perfect.
And so that was the other reasoning for this. Yet I can guarantee you, people are going to treat us different again because now we're we're driving a top of the line car. But I didn't buy it. It's a $60,000 car. I didn't buy it new. Had 5,000 miles on it.
Yep.
I paid $9,000 more for that car than I did for the lowest of the low end Subaru you can buy. $9,000. I mean, it's nothing on paper financially, but the public perception is going to be completely different again.
Absolutely.
And it's very frustrating.
But then your environment's actually built on also the people that are in your life as well, right? So if you put the right people in your life that actually are like, if I saw that to you, Kirk, I'd be like, man, that's amazing, man. Like, and I'd ask you the question, like, why? Like, what was the reason why you went and bought that? And you just give me, not because you have to justify yourself, but I just genuinely want to know, like, what was the main reason why you went and grabbed that car? You'd tell me the answer, and I'd be like, that's cool, man. Like, amazing.
Right.
And I'd look to push you on and go, actually, like, why do I have the prerogative to be able to, like, pull you down and go to you, well, that's shit car. Like, why should I put that pressure on you, that emotional load on you? Like, why should I be the one to do that? Like, it's everywhere in society. It's rife. People seem to have this opinion, and then what they don't realize is those opinions, when they have, like, one opinion, not so much. Like, if I said it to you, probably like, whatever, Aaron, and like carry on. But if it's happening all the time because the people that are involved in your life are ripping you down, and like, we talk about tall poppy, where people pull you down from that top and they cut you down to size because their life's inferior or they're not happy with what masks they wear, and they pull you down. Like, that's a major problem. And if it's happening all the time, I talk about those micro traumas all the time, what do you think starts to happen? You start to second guess everything you're doing. And, if you've done it for your reasons and your family's reasons, you should be, that should be amazing. You should be able to be like worshipped because of that, because you're doing you, and people should be able to push you up and go, Kirk, you're smashing it, mate. You're smashing life. Whatever you're doing it right. And that's how you should feel, which empowers you, right? It makes you feel like you can carry on now and push on to the next thing and do something more to you. And once you start to drop that mask and you put the right people and the right environments into your life, it's very hard to go back the other way, because you start to see what actually life can be like in regards to feeling like, yourself, like actually feeling who you actually should be.
And I guess the other question I have with that is, isn't it almost like a snowball effect that you're going to now attract
Absolutely.
the right kind of people into your
Absolutely.
circles instead of attracting the people for the wrong reasons.
100%. Absolutely. 1,000,000%.
So there's an I don't know. Can you explain
the laws
that?
of attraction,
Maybe
people talk about the laws of attraction, right? So people think it's this magical, mystical thing that happens. It's not. Laws of attraction is based on what you're doing. If you want to be, and you're so that way inclined because you're that, at your soul level, you want to be a successful business person, and that matters to you. That's your thing. Like, I'm not saying that, like, people might have a little misconception in regards to I'm telling people just to rip their lives down and change their lives. That's not what I'm saying. Like, if you want to be a successful corporate person and that's what matters to you, kill it, go smash it, and I'll help you do that. Or you can have that. But if it's built on all the wrong things, you're never going to have that. And even if you do have it, you won't want it anyway. So when we talk about
wrong reasons, meaning you're not doing it for yourself.
100%.
You're doing it
for the salary or
father,
doing it to show off or whatever.
Your wife, your parents, your whatever. It's not. At the end of the day, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Bang on the money.
Maybe to fit in with a circle of friends.
Yep. It's usually
those
the case.
are all the wrong reasons.
Yep. And I come across it so much where people are like, the first port of call that tells me that people are wearing one/multiple masks is when I ask the question, and I don't directly ask the question, how many masks you're wearing. I was just like, are you happy with your life right now? Like, everything you're doing right now, are you happy with your life? And the instant response is, yeah, my life's amazing. I've got nothing to change. And that's usually the first red flag for me. I'm like, okay, like, no one's life's perfect. Like, I still wear masks occasionally, absolutely, because it's the learnt behavior. I've spent 30 plus years doing something a certain way, and I catch myself out. I talk about this a lot on LinkedIn in regards to the way I do things in life. And I have now a process in which I really work hard to work through, which is like stop and actually check myself on those things and go, does this align to me? Or is it actually aligned to doing something completely different? Like, is it going down a path where I don't want to be going down? So
I'm still questioning this car purchase.
And
make sure we're doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. So it's not a case of you're gonna get cold moments in life where you make a decision because it's right for the moment, it's right for you, and then you check yourself again later, and you're like, "Oh, was that?" But then just come back to that same set of questions. What was the reasons why I did it, and did it matter to me, and does it still matter to me? Yeah, it does. Right. If it doesn't, mate, sell the car. Like that's the reality.
Like that manual transmission car, we bought it for the right reasons, but it didn't work out, and so there you go. And so, off you go, and we change directions again. Yep. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Absolutely. And like you say, laws of attraction before is when you start to put people in your life, start to put environments into your life, which is built around people and interactions, you realize that people will push you quickly back towards yourself. And what I mean by that, like, I've got a really close friend, Sam, who I spend a fair bit of time with, play a lot of golf with, do certain things with him, and he's only come into my life in the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, but I'm just me with him. Like, I'm actually authentically me with him. Like, there's no mask at all. It's just, if I do something that's me, he just awards it. Like, it's refreshing to be around somebody who loves you for who you are, not what you do. And it's just so refreshing and enlightening to actually be around someone who just wants the best for you and genuinely wants the best for you, not just, oh, you're doing that, so like, oh, okay, now I'm going to feel like I can't achieve that, or can lean on me for like actual hard, direct advice. And it's not because it's going to fix his life, but it's because he knows for a fact I'll give him the honest truth, and I'm not going to beat around the bush in regards to what he wants to hear. And the same thing goes in return. And we have such a healthy, organic relationship because of that. There's no other moments where like you'll ask him to go do something for him, or play some golf or drop something off for him, and same in return, where if I can't do it, I'll tell him, mate, I'm too busy today, mate, can't do it. And he respects that, and he's like, good as gold, mate, I'll find someone else to do it out, and we'll catch up next few days. And because of that, like, it's just such a healthy, like, it's just I can't explain it. It's such a healthy growth environment.
There's not this self-talk like, oh, I guess Aaron doesn't like me anymore.
Exactly right. It's because he knows deep down how my soul works, which is my motives.
We spent 4 hours together.
Yeah,
and I could have said that about our not able to get connected. You could have probably said it to me about not being able to get connected, but we both knew the truth. It just shit happened.
Absolutely,
it's all it was. There was no ulterior motive. There was no other decisions going on. And probably that first call probably helped, right? If we hadn't had that,
Absolutely.
we might have thought, "Oh, what's up with Aaron now? He canceled on me. What's going on?"
Funnily enough, you say that because I have thought about our relationship. I'll call it that because it's what it is. Our relationship to date in regards to how I came into contact with you and how I'm now have this relationship with you, and it's fascinating because I speak to you. I don't speak to you daily, but I speak to you a lot. Like we talk on LinkedIn a lot, and we chat occasionally, and we're doing this now, obviously. And I watched a few of your podcasts initially, which you only really started getting into them, and then just your context and which how you write on LinkedIn, plus also how you talk, and it told me everything I need to know. Like I knew, and like we talked about last time, there's a few things that you're definitely still working on, and there's a few masks that you're still trying to remove and get rid of in your life and that sort of thing. But deep down beyond those, I saw beyond those, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at with people I work with. Like I know when I work with people, I know where those masks are. I know just based on how you tell stories. Like I can tell by that story you're telling me about the cars. I can tell where there's faults in that because of the way you tell it, the way you hold your certain tone and parts to that conversation, or the way you pull back on your body language or whatever it might be. And I can't give you the exact step-by-step playbook in regards to what I'm looking at, but I can tell you right now that it's completely off in regards to your characters to the way they should be. And then I'll dig deeper on that. Like, hey mate, what was the reasons why you when you were talking about the color of the car, that you sort of pulled back on that and you said you brought a context to your wife didn't like it or something like that. Like, what was that all about? And then we'll just dig into that piece of the puzzle and then you'll just start to unravel and then it'll come to the surface by itself naturally. And that's what I guess I'm coming back to with like people. Like there's not only people that have come into contact with me, I can't go straight to the point, and I do 2-hour sessions with people, and it's not the full development of unmasking, it's not the full all the skill sets you're going to need and makes you be able to like run your life in the right direction, but it definitely allows you to open your eyes and go, oh shit, okay, these bits and pieces are here and they are real and they do need to be worked on, because the flip side of having masks is realizing that you actually wear them. Because a lot of people aren't even prepared to even look themselves in the mirror and go, oh, that's an ugly sight, I best do something about that. They're not prepared to even do that. They're prepared to turn their back on the mirror and go, I will deal with that later, or I don't want to deal with that right now, because I have a successful career, which I hate, and I have a relationship with my wife that we always fight, and my kids don't love me when I actually get to catch up with them because they're freaking always working. Like, but that's success. Everyone wants me to be like that, so I'll just be like that, and I'm happy with that. My word's good right now until that's not, and then there's a collapse,
Right. That's the thing, right? Is that collapse when you realize it's I don't know if fake is the right word. It's just we're all sold this ideal of what ideal's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And it's still, I still think, I guess there's a lot of questions I have just in life in general.
Sure.
When I look at the history of man and where we came from and over the past 2,000 or 3,000 years and, mm-hmm. and, the whole, go to school, get a nice, safe job, mm-hmm. and that whole, go buy a house. Mm-hmm. And, you kind of wonder about all of that after a while, especially in 2025, right? Because that formula doesn't work really good in reality.
Well, most of it's built on industrialism, right? Right. Industrialism and, getting economies going because we need feet on pavements to make things move. And, I come back to this, not a lot, but occasionally with people and conversations I have, especially with my wife, who's a really, really high intellect when it comes to this sort of stuff, is, where do we feel the most ourselves? Where do we feel most at home, and where do we feel most fulfilled? I can tell you right now, it ain't driving a $300,000 car on the freaking highway. It might feel thrilling and it might give you, a bit of dopamine, but it won't fulfill you, and it will be fleeting in those moments. Where you create real fulfillment is connection. And, from thousands of years ago when we didn't have all the technology we have and the things we have these today, like, the saying is it takes a community to raise a child. That's the truth. That's the reality. And when we have people around us that actually want to lift us up and actually, be around us for the right reasons, and we're connected fully on the right level with those people, we feel wholesome. We feel like we're a complete person. We feel like we're actually seen properly, and we actually can be ourselves, remove all the cloaking and remove all the masks and actually just be ourselves. And that's I personally think that's the holy grail of life. It's, we're going to have challenges, we're going to have tribulations, we're going to have to go through life's ups and downs. But if you've got the right people on that journey with you, I believe truly one of those is it has to be your wife. It has to be the right person that sits next to you, because you spend a lot of time with that person. And if they're the wrong way geared and not wanting to lift you up on the right occasions and then ask you the right questions at the right times, then they're the wrong person. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But then the wider community is your friends, family, and your connection group. And if they're prepared to in those moments give those micro negativities, which is what we talked about before, which is when you turn up in a car or a bit of clothing that you love, that you like, you've done it for your reasons. It shouldn't be you shouldn't have to feel like you're walking on eggshells to walk into that environment. Like, oh God, I'm going to get judged here. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like that. You should be able to walk in there and go, I'm me, love me as I am. And that person goes, welcome home. Like, that's the way it should be, like.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just, we like having people around you and that community around you that really pushes that, and that narrative and that agenda is life. Like, and I'm working on I'm trying to find that place. I've got people in my life right now that absolutely are that to me, and I hold on to them with dear life. But there's still a lot of my life that's not who I want to be and not where I want to go. And I'm working really, really hard to strip those pieces of my life out, because people will think I'm abrasive and people will think that I'm aggressive in that nature. But why? It's my life. I'm only here for a very short period of time. I talk about family a lot. And across the board, like, if you've got toxic traits in your family, and whether it's your brother, your sister, your mum, or your dad, they have certain personality traits that they've either learnt or have ingrained into them that you don't like, either speak up about it and actually say that what you don't like, or distance yourself from it. Because whether you're family or not, why should you have to put up with it? Like, and the problem with family is people don't speak up. They hold the peace and they continue to walk on eggshells. Every time they go to that family gathering, they've got to be someone they're not. And like, if anything, your family should be like looking after you the most. They're the one that should be, but then they've got their own mask they're wearing, so they start to be this bitter person that you don't want to be around. Not saying that I have this out and out. I
totally get where you're going with that. I remember, as a kid not a young kid, I probably wasn't old enough to recognize it, but as a 20-something kid going to a family reunion and just looking at literally the different posturing and everything else that was going on I come from a large family. Mm-hmm, so there's, a family reunion would probably be, I don't know, 50, 70, 100 people. So it's not small. And we're talking, that's just
the close proximity family, not the wider.
Yeah. Well, I mean, husbands and children and wives and stuff like that, but just one family, meaning
not the seventh cousin of the sister or the brother down the track. It's just that close.
I'm talking about first cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents. It's that close, right? And you see a lot of the masks being worn. Exactly, the people that don't feel like they're as worthy as the others, and the ones that think they are the worthiest ones, and in every other spectrum out there. It's quite amazing seeing, but like you said, you would think that would be where you feel like you should be the most free to be who you truly are. What is your thought on? And I think we said this before, but we lost the recording. But I'm curious about the competition in life.
Do you want to give me a little bit more context to that?
I've gone through life, and a lot of times I don't feel like I'm not in competition with really anybody. Mm-hmm. Yet there's probably people in competition that I not even picking up on the fact, and that might be part of the friction that we have.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, just to give me some more framework to build upon, you're saying as you go through life, or you've gone through life, your, viewpoints on competing against other people doesn't really exist. It's more a case of you doing you and wanting to do you, and that's what matters.
Pretty much. There might be somebody doing something and I'll say, that sounds interesting. I would be interested in maybe looking more into that. Mm-hmm. But as an example, I remember going to this one restaurant and one of the owners or family of the owners was over there, and I don't know, me already.
I do.
Struck up a conversation like, hey, when do you guys show up to work? And oh, really? You know, like they show up to work like 4 o'clock in the morning. I go, do you guys ever take oh yeah, we only take 2 weeks off a year. I was like, oh, I mean, you know, super successful. They're making tons of money. I'm like, you know what? You guys can keep that. I don't want any part of that. And after having that conversation, I feel like that's almost the case with almost every person you see out there. There's always, we never get to see the full story, right? We only get to see a portion of it. And I guess what it's taught me is I don't really look at envy necessarily. I might look, that looks interesting. I'd like to find out more about that, because I've never really found a case where there's not somebody doing something that looks really cool and looks fun. And like, I don't really have it from a jealousy perspective. It's more of a curiosity, because I guess maybe I'm just skeptical, because, you know, what you see, the Instagram, you know, all filtered view of somebody's life is all great, but trust me, there's a struggle there somewhere. It's never that clean, right? Yet I think for a lot of people, you're living your life that way. There's people like want to be like that other person, and they're almost like in competition with it, right? Oh, you got that new car, now I need to go get a new car. You got that new house, I need to get a bigger house. Why do
you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I remember this one time I mentioned to somebody, I was like, oh, your house is like so-and-so's house. It's quite similar. Like, no, it's not. My house is definitely bigger. And I was like,
yep.
Okay. I'm like, I'm just trying to be complimentary, and you took it as a dig. And I go,
yeah.
And all I said was similar. I didn't say that their house was the same size. I didn't say that yours was smaller. I just said they were similar. But I guess that was the wrong word.
So what do you think happens in that environment? That person internalizes. They'll go internal, and they'll go, "Oh, Kurt just made that." I mean, it might be conscious or unconscious, or subconscious. Where they had that moment of you coming in there and making that comment, and in your mind, it's completely platonic. It's completely just a throwaway comment. Just this
benign.
Is benign. Exactly right. Perfect word for that. And he's going to go away from that environment and completely internalize that, and actually. Next week, he's going to go buy a new house. Probably not that extreme, but that's what along those lines he's going to be thinking. But
it wasn't next week, but it did happen.
There you go. So that's great. I didn't even know the story.
And it was twice as much, or 3 times as much.
There you go. And it probably wasn't just your comment.
Sure,
it would have been a few things.
They're not similar anymore. They're not even close.
So like, I didn't even know that story. Like, hang on up. Like, you haven't even told me that story at all in the past, and I gave you great context in regards to that exact example. Like, and you know, the reasons I can tell you the exact reasons why, and this isn't scientific, but it's the truth. The reasons why people will do that and will continue to do that is because they're not truly happy with who they are as a person.
I mean, my wife and I right now, we want well, I wouldn't say necessarily smaller, because I have my things, and maybe that's a whole nother subject to talk about that I don't want to let go. I mean, I definitely have a struggle with that. Won't deny it. But I'm getting a lot better at it. Just dropping things, letting them go. Yep. But we definitely want something that costs less. And, you know, it's, I mean, we don't feel the value of this living where we have. It's just, if we could live for half the cost, which is pretty substantial to live for half the cost. Actually, what we're looking at would be 25% of the cost. And we'd have the same square footage. We'd have a much larger garage.
Make you just as happy.
And I'm just as happy, right? And the particular place we're looking at is in rural. My wife's like, I don't want to live rural. I'm like, that's okay. So we're looking at like a duplex that we could rent half of it out. That would hopefully nearly pay for the other half. That would be our city house. And we could have the best of both worlds at, like, I would literally spend less than half of what I'm spending right now. Less than half. That's crazy. And why wouldn't I do that? You know,
society is a reason. I mean, not this is you, not an example, but most of the time will be built on society's framework. Or
I mean, we got a 2 year, we have a 2-3 year plan. I mean, we're working towards, you know, it's not, it's hard to just snap your fingers and make everything happen. But
absolutely,
yeah, we have a schedule we're on, and we're working towards that, because I'm not getting any younger, and I don't want to work until I'm 90 years old either. And, So, if I can reduce my expenses down and have everything that we want, wow. Because at the end of the day, I don't know. And it's like I almost question everything, right? Like my wife really wants to travel more. Like she doesn't want to wait until we're retirement age. She wants to travel now because while we have our health and we can go on hikes, and we're getting ready to do a 200+ mile bike ride in Spain. And but then I even, like, why do we feel the need to travel? I mean, I love to travel too. I love meeting new people and going new places. But it's like I almost question everything. I put this lens on, like, I don't know, maybe is this a mask I'm wearing? Is this really me?
No, I don't think so.
How do I know that? I mean, like, what is the purpose of all of this? And I just, the only thing that she's frustrated with, because I told her I'm not bringing my full kit, bringing some cameras. Like, well, I might do a podcast when I'm there. She's like, who are you going to do podcasts with? I go, I don't know. Maybe I might meet the owner of the place we're staying at, and they have an interesting story, and it'd be worth capturing and talking to him. She's like rolling her eyes.
You know what the crazy
She's
thing
an introvert. She's an introvert.
But that's a good example. Like, when you're talking about the travel, you lit up. Like, you lit up. But you've been reasonably even keel in regards to your conversation so far, with a few highs and lows. But when you brought up the travel piece, you lifted another level above that. So it got you excited. It got you talking a bit faster. Your tone changed a little bit, and then you spoke about podcasting with people. And your whole entire existence lit up into another level completely altogether. It just exploded. So that tells me
I don't make any money at this.
But yes,
I don't care.
A big but. That's exactly right, mate. And I've spoken to you about this in the past. Like, if you're passionate about it, and I'm not too dissimilar to that, right? I've got a few things. We talked about my beverage company and the stuff I do with Unmasked, and I got to get you connected.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do that.
I'm not a multi-millionaire by any shape of the imagination, but is it what I love doing? Absolutely. And am I convicted in doing what I'm doing? Absolutely. Am I going to turn around and go back the other direction? No, not for 1 second. And I've got people around me, like my wife and a few other people, that are pushing me towards myself. Just keep doing what you're doing. It will pay off eventually. It's just you're passionate about it. You love it. It's what you're doing. You come to life when you talk about it. Just keep doing that. And I think it's a really timely reminder to think like that. The travel's one thing, and you love doing that anyway. So enjoy that with your wife while you have got your health. But if you can do some podcasting where you're on it, why can't you? If you love doing it, do it. And don't apologize for that. Don't be apologetic in regards to, okay, I'll just bring one camera. If you want to bring 5 cameras, bring friggin' 5 cameras if you can make it work. I'm just trying to give you
we're doing a 225 mile bike ride, so it's going to be kind of hard to carry.
And find a way to carry if you want to carry it. That's what I'm trying to get back to though, mate. Because I think we put roadblocks in our own way. I would really love to do some podcasting, but my wife's going to think I'm weird if I bring 5 cameras, and how am I going to make that work? Well, if you really love it, make it work. And I think that's the reality of we live in, where it's you sort of almost talk yourself out of doing things that you actually should be doing, if that makes sense, because of reality, because of environments, because of social connections or social environments.
I get one bag.
I can fit a bit of gear in there. Pack to the hill.
I can do 3 cameras.
Oh, I love that.
3 cameras, really? I'm going to probably do. Crazy me.
You've said it now. I expect to see 3 cameras on this travel trip now in regards to some videos.
So I was even considering bringing these microphones.
They're quite heavy.
I did opt against. Well, the reason why I'm opting against it is the tabletop stands are quite heavy. Yeah, and the microphones are quite heavy. So we're gonna go with the little Rode microphones.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And I was considering bringing my recording device. I don't know. I'd probably mess it up. It's a Rodecaster. It's pretty big.
Oh yes.
And I think I've decided not. I'm still. I haven't made the final decision on that. She's like, why would you bring that? And it's like, because it does just this excellent job of mashing the audio with the video, and it just does it on this hard drive, and all I got to do is plug the hard drive in, and it just.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. I'll give you this for piece for free. When wife asks you that next question, when you bring it up again in the next subject, sit down and spend the time to explain it to her properly. I can tell you right, your world will change. So sit down with her and go to, I'm really passionate about this. I'm not going to give you the exact example of what you should be saying to her, but along these lines, I'm really passionate about this, and this is it lights me up, this thing. I will absolutely go traveling with you because I love it as well. But for me, for what I need in that trip, this is it. And these are the reasons why. and
Yeah.
and just see the difference in regards to, because too often we look past those parts of our life that we expect people to know I can see how much you love like podcasting and talking to people. I can see it. It's like ingrained in your, like every bit of your fiber. But because I know who I'm looking at and what I'm looking at because of my experience and my skill set. But we seem to forget that people don't feel that same feel. They don't, like when you get light up about podcasting, they don't see the internal workings of your brain and how it excites you. They see the, oh God, not again scenario, and that's what they give back to you. And then you start to second guess what you're doing. And I'm not saying your wife's wrong. I'm not saying she's trying to give you trauma, but I'm just saying if we went one step further and said to, her, hey, these are the reasons why. And I am passionate about this, this, and this, and this. And because these things all bring us together, I do need this and this to make it happen. Like, and can we make it work?
One of my best engagement was I wasn't podcasting yet, but I was just videotaping my trip to Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot his name now, but he's at, what's it called? Anyway, he was at this hotel where the two rivers come together in Ireland, south of Dublin. Mm-hmm. And I tried to get him to go on camera. He told me to go fuck off. I do have it on video though. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And but he didn't want to be on camera. He just thought I was another annoying tourist.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
And neither it should, because in the day you'll find people that want to podcast with you, and those are people you want to be working with. Like, don't force yourself to find the people that will literally feel out of comfort zone or not doing what you want them to do. Like, the reason why this is such an easy conversation, and it's just like we're sitting in the lounge having a conversation over a coffee together, is because I want to be here doing this. Like, I'm fully engaged here, and actually, I want to give my my thoughts and my passion back to you and what you're after. And that's what you should be looking for. I personally believe, because when you do, you get the warmth, you get the feeling, and you get the connection. And
your passion. I mean, I guess you have this drink thing going, but your main passion is the unmasking.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm going to collide those two worlds together at some point. That's the ultimate goal. Like, it always was, and the beverage has always been, or it has been for the last 3 years. It's been a love affair with where I want to go with that. And when I said it, I can talk about it lightly quickly now, is I left corporate. I left corporate in a good state of mind. I didn't leave corporate in a like I'm broken, I need to freaking fix my life scenario. I left corporate and went, my life's more than this. Like, what am I doing here? And
yeah,
when I was going through after my breakdown,
I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I had my breakdown at 32, and for the listeners, a catatonic breakdown where I had to learn to walk and talk again. So I was institutionalized. My brain just melted itself pretty much. And we can go into that a little bit later. But coming off the back of that, I still had pathways that I just repeated. I still put on masks. I still thought to get back on my A game, I had to go back to corporate. I had to learn to walk again and get back on that horse. And I did it a few times in that next, what am I now, 37, and I've been out of that space for 2 or 3 years now. So the next 3 or 4 years, I spent, doing the same thing again. And it didn't come as much of a cost, but it still did. It's still up to this height and had to fall from that height again, and then realize that it wasn't the right thing, and then make an adjustment and carry on. And when I left corporate, I was in a space of really healthy processes and thought pathways in regards to where I want to go. I'd learned a lot of things on my pathway from 32 when I had that breakdown right the way to when I left. And I saw things in a different light before, which I'd never seen. I just listened to 2 minutes of bullshit, and I just, went down the pathways I shouldn't have gone down. But for once in my life, I was like, my life's short. Like, why am I putting myself through this shit? Like, why am I? The money's great. The money's great, and the freaking connections are freaking everyone wants to know me again, and like that's built on actual good behaviors from me. So it wasn't done on I'm trying to mask anything. It was just I love doing this. I love connections. Excuse me. I love making deals with people. I love giving people the best they can get from me in return with no motive. That's me, and I built that part of my corporate career on those foundations. So it wasn't as such masking as such, but I still got to a point where I was like, I am still trying to get to the place where I don't like. I'm still trying to climb this ladder to nothingness. And when I do get there, it's just still going to be the same bloody answer. Like, what am I trying to achieve here? And it was a moment of aha. And I rang on my wife, or I talked to my wife that evening. I said, I'm handing my notice in. Like, I'm done tomorrow. Like, I don't even have a plan from here, but I just know this isn't it. So
this isn't it. So why spend another moment in it?
Yeah, and most people build their little side hustle while they're trying to do their masking job in the same sentence. But that wasn't my pathway, and it never will be. So, I'm not saying everybody should follow my way of doing things, but I just dumped it on its head and went, actually, this can go in the bin. It's probably a polite way of putting it, in the bin, and I'm going to start from scratch on something that actually matters to me. And a few months of sitting still and a few months of not doing too much, but just thinking about where my life needs to go from here, and having the breathing space from my wife. And it just came to me. I was like, what did I actually need in all those times and through those moments was something to take the edge off life that brings me closer to people with connection point of view. And don't get me wrong, alcohol creates a lot of that for a lot of people, but I didn't want that. I'm all about, now in my life, about looking after myself as much as I can, and being, health promoting, and trying to get as much good sleep as I can, and being more about what benefits me rather than takes away from me. And alcohol wasn't the answer. So went to task over a couple of years, the last 2.5 years, to really build a product that's a beverage, slightly carbonated beverage that brings to the masses in regards to connection, and gives you a neuro effect that actually, relaxes you and takes the edge off life. So.
Oh, really? So it's a different kind of beverage.
Yeah, so I mean, you think about, I hate using the context of alcohol because I don't want anything like alcohol, but along the same effects, right? So when you drink alcohol,
so it's not a stimulant.
Not a stimulant, relaxant. So takes the edge off. So like alcohol, I'm not going to use people. Alcohol is actually depressant, so let's not use that context. But along those lines, so if we're having one now, we're having a few now. By the time you've had a couple of glasses of this, you're going to feel pretty relaxed and pretty edge taken off life, and you just want to actually just converse more and talk more.
And it doesn't have alcohol in it.
No alcohol. It's alcohol free.
Alcohol free.
All natural, alcohol free. About 10 calories a can, I think it is, from memory.
Are there any other products like this on the market?
Yeah, of course. And when I went down the pathway of creating this, hand on heart, on my son's life, I didn't do my research. I don't know anything about FMCG or food and beverage, so I just jumped in the deep end and thought I knew best, and started attacking the space the best way I knew how, which is just getting on with it. And it's not because I was worried about competitors, but I just didn't worry about it. I just thought I wanted it to taste like this, and I wanted it to be like this from a functional point of view for people to actually be able to have. And I went to task on doing that. And obviously, as the journey's unraveled,
that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting journey. It's probably a very, very gentle way of putting it. It's been
is it carbonated?
Yeah, lightly carbonated. So you're not talking about like Coca-Cola is probably your highest carbonated soft drink you can probably think of. When it's fresh out of the bottle, it's been made, obviously. If you think along the lines of ours, where like a light sparkling water, I guess, is probably a best way of talking to people in regards to how it feels, but very light on the palates. You don't get that gassy feeling. You don't get massive buildup of gas in your stomach. It's just very gentle to drink, almost like drinking water. And we've created it based on natural ingredients, so it's the viscosity and the texture in your mouth. There's no artificial compounds in it. So when you drink it, it tastes like drinking water. So it's like it gives you that nice, refreshing feeling when you drink it.
And what market are you planning to release this in first?
We're looking to build it in a tourism spot to start with, like a tourism space, whether it be resorts and that sort of stuff, to build like reputation and foundations for the brand, and then looking at on the long term internationally with different markets, whether it be the States, over into Europe and to Asia and China. Long term here, we're talking like 5 to 10 years plus. But yeah, in supermarkets, yes, but then what do I want to be doing that for? I've said this to my team of directors and like what we're trying to achieve here. Like, what's my motive to be in all supermarkets, like, a big Walmart or a big supermarket chains here in New Zealand? What's my motive to be in that space? Is it to make more money? Yeah, that's what most people do it for, or to exit out to be able to make a massive profit. Cool. Investors probably won't want to hear me saying this, but like that's one pathway, and it comes at a major cost. Like the amount of stories I've heard where people have gone into like venture capitalist and like investment, and they've literally, when they've sold the company, literally been left with nothing because they've had to use all this investment to scale the business model to get all these pathways, and it just leaves them with nothing. So to date, we haven't taken any VC money on board, and we've done it all bootstrapped. And the MVP, like the product's finished and can. I've got a few contracts and stuff I'm dealing with at the moment, with commercial contracts that I'm trying to work out at the moment, and yeah, it's taking shape and form, which is just it's not a matter about there's no rush to get in the market because at the end of the day there's always a time frame on it, but it's doing it for the right reasons and having the connections for the right reasons and looking after the supply chain properly and making sure people are well taken care of and doing things ethically the right way for once.
Yeah, so is there going to be multiple flavors or is it just a single flavor?
Initially, I built people have asked me this a lot, and I use the context of like Red Bull, for example, good example. Red Bull, if I asked you to name the flavor of Red Bull, you probably couldn't. Like, you'd name some flavor profiles or some things that it tastes most likely like, and everybody's example that will be different. I wanted to build the beverage to create curiosity and to create communication and connection with people. I wanted to build it on no flavor profile. So I've taken certain compounds to build a flavor profile that you can't tell what the flavor profile is. So when you drink
like a Red Bull.
Exactly right. And I did it because I didn't want to be, not for one, not copied, because I don't want to just be like another berry flavored or another lemon flavored. I didn't want to be like that. So we put it down to having some very creative food chemists that were working with us, and we put a whole lot of things. I gave a base profile of what I would like it to taste similar to, and then we blended off the side of that, so we just blended it right out so you can't actually pick the flavor profile. And the testing we've done is pretty amazing. Like,
so,
yeah, everyone that tastes it's like, I can taste this. And I'm like, cool. If that's what you can taste, that's your perception. So like, go with it. And that's what I wanted. I wanted people tasting sherbet or orange or grape or whatever they wanted because what they've had, like whether it be food or beverage in their life or whatever the context they've had, it creates a different environment for the person drinking it. And so that's what I wanted.
So how many people helped formulate this? Was it just you?
I founded the company after I came out of corporate, and I've now got 4 directors on, well, 3 in the short future, but before. And yeah, I did the majority of the R&D work myself for the first 12 to 18 months, which is working with flavor houses and food chemists to get the compounds right, to get the ratios right, flavor profile right, working with importation, exportation of ingredient profiles, that sort of stuff across the world to get what we needed, and just setting up supply chains in the right places to make sure we've got the supply correct with what we need going forward, because the last thing I want to have is that collapse. So that's all in a really healthy place at the moment. So yeah, for the first probably 18 months it was mainly that, and then after I brought the next couple of directors on, it was more around marketing, brand establishment in regards to the branding and the naming of the beverage itself, what it means to us, and like the actual grounding of the actual brand itself, and the story behind it, the vision, the mission, that sort of stuff, over the last sort of year 12 to 18 months.
Is there any tie-ins to recovery at all?
Absolutely. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, there's magnesium in there, ashwagandha in there, all flavor profiles that you can't taste any of those, but they've all got, and they've got functional levels as well. Like, not just your 10 micrograms to better sats on the back of your label, so you can say you've got it in there to, put a comment on that it creates, relaxing or recovery. I'll put like medicinal quantities in there to an FDA standard, so it's not going to go, but it's not. So
you're talking about like recovery after doing a workout.
Anything, mate. Like, and I was
thinking about recovery in terms of you going through your struggle recovery.
That as well. Absolutely, 100%, absolutely. And it's I created
is that going to be part of your branding and marketing?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Like, I love this. Like, this is one even reason why we've been talking about it now, because I love how organically this comes to fruition, and it's really.
I'm actually talking to a guy Friday who is part of a recovery church.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Interesting.
He's on the steps of a church having those tough conversations with himself.
That's cool.
And he's still here, so that part of the story.
Amazing.
I can't wait to talk to him on Friday.
That's cool. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be exciting. Yeah. It's weird. Well, we talked about this before, like the universe, right?
Yeah.
And how things connect and how we're connecting right now. So I was supporting a friend of mine who went to Uganda to, and then met this guy who started a school.
Yep.
And is looking for funding in Uganda for the school. And so we did a podcast for her to help promote this party that we had. So I ended up going to the party, and I'm scanning the room. And I told my wife, I go, I don't want to sit at a table by ourselves. I go, what do you think about that couple over there? She's like, yeah, they look okay. So we walk over there and we meet them. They ended up being two couples that they performed a few songs that night as part of the entertainment, and we got talking and we hit it off really well.
Yep.
And then I mentioned I had a podcast. Would you like to have because he's sharing part of his testimony as part of his performance. He shared his testimony.
Yep.
And I don't know, it was very moving. And I'm like, he would be a really interesting person to have on. Come to find out, they travel all over as part of this recovery. He has his own recovery story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, we conversed. I helped him carry his gear out, got to talk some more with him. And he's like, dude, I have all kinds of people that have very interesting stories that you should have on your podcast.
I love that. I absolutely love
so
that.
I have no idea where this is going to go, but I'm
don't need to know. Follow your path and follow your soul in regards to what matters to you, and say no to the right things and say yes to the right things, and it'll all fall into place where you need to.
And it's just interesting how everything worked out that I even met this guy. And now you're telling me you have a drink that's tied to recovery too. So who knows where all this is going? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I
just love the two worlds colliding together at some point. So I didn't plan on the beverage being in this space, and I didn't plan, like, we had this biggest problem to start with the drink, which is where and what demographic or ideal customer profile we wanted to have involved with. You know, you look at certain beverage companies, like, for example, Red Bull's a marketing company. Yes, they sell beverages, but they're mainly marketing now based on extreme sports, right? So that's their ideal customer profile, and then they build off everything off the side of that. So Cool, the beverage we're building at the moment is not too dissimilar. It's like, what do we want as a customer profile? And the worst thing I had to start with was it can be everybody's. It can be, you know, take it to a barbecue on a Saturday night and have it there because it's going to take the edge off, or after you've just done a workout, it can be for recovery in regards to when you get home from the gym and just have a can of this, and it'll help you sleep better and recover better. Or like we're sitting here right now, there's no reason I couldn't have one right now and just sip away at it as we're talking. Like, it's just so useful in so many environments. And you know, I want to be like that. I want to eventually be just a household name where it can be drunk as much as Coca-Cola.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So is it going to be in a can or a bottle or both?
It's going to be in a can, just due to like recycling and like sustainability. Like aluminium and recycling of cans is just so much more. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than using plastic or using. I mean, glass isn't too bad. Oh, sorry, the other way around. Plastic isn't too bad compared to glass, or the other way around, whatever which way it is. But we went with aluminium small slimline cans. So if you think they're small 250ml slim cans, just due to correct dosings, as well as, you know, the 500ml cans that, you know, are Monster and the big Red Bulls and energy drinks is all good and well, but how often do people want to drink 500ml in one hit? Like, it's very rarely. So 250ml is a glass size, so you pour that into a glass, into a tall glass or a short glass, and you have like literally one serving ready to go. So it can be universal from a usage point of view. So that's why we went with it.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's coming through.
I'll be exciting to have some.
Oh, I'll send you a case over as soon as we've made a few more puzzles around, pieces of the puzzle around, and I'll send you a case over.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be super exciting. No and then we could be each sipping one. We could,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have my list of things here that I haven't even talked about.
This is over last time. It ended up being a 7-hour conversation.
Yeah. We did. Actually. Well, here was a question. Like, what are some steps that you could share on how to start unmasking and reconnect with your inner voice?
Sure, no problems at all. The first and foremost is like I said to you in the earlier in the podcast, is being prepared to look in the mirror. So being prepared to even walk in that direction at all. You know, like, people put roadblocks up and put masks up because they don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to go in that pathway. And, you know, not everyone's extreme. Not everyone's got these major masks that need to be removed, but there'll be certain things in your life you do where it's a small, you know, behavioral pattern that you don't like, or whether it's a relationship you don't want to be around, or what it might be, that needs to be changed. And being honest with yourself about that in the first instance is the first step in the pathway. You know, am I happy with everything across my life right now? And if I'm not happy with those things, why am I not happy with those things? I'm not happy that I have to freaking live in this house because it's not what I want. It's massive, or it's small, or it doesn't serve a purpose, or it might be. So, okay, that's cool. You're not going to be able to change that overnight, but what are the behaviors that are attached to that have put you in that position? Relationships are a great one, and it's the main thing that gets talked about during any sessions with me is I can't seem to work it out. I'm always arguing with this person, or got this relationship where it's toxic, or we have fallouts, or I'm feeling stressed all the time when we're talking to this person, or it might be, and I'm just like, well, if that's the case, what are you saying in those environments? Like, what are you doing in those environments that creates those problems? And then usually it's a very guarded conversation. It's usually they say it from through their lens, so it's usually not 100% the whole story, but eventually comes out, and it's usually built on motives, built on what they want to get out of it, or what they want to do to hurt the other person. So just ask that question, like, what in my life right now am I not happy with, and why am I not happy with it? And then that's the first starting point that I work with everybody anyway. And I don't ever walk anybody through pathways, so just to be completely clear. So I don't give you, hey, Kirk, if you do plot one, this first step, and then you do this next step, then your life will be perfect. I ask you enough questions and get you to come to your own realizations by yourself. And it's always the pathway that suits you. So it'll always be the questions that, bring you back to yourself. And then you'll go, oh, that's what that is. And I'm like, yeah, like if that lights you on fire, and like, for example, your podcasting lights you on fire, and that'll be a bit deeper than that, but there'll be reasons behind why you love that. There'll be I desperately crave connection and people. And when I do podcasts, I have that, I feel that, and that fulfills me. Yeah, all the tech gear is all good and well, and carrying 6 cameras is all good and well, and that's all part of the puzzle. But what really makes me and lights my world on fire is people. Sitting there looking into people's eyes and seeing their soul, and me feeling who they are as a person. And that's what makes me feel good. So that's that for you. Then what else part of your life have you not got that in? Is it your relationship with your wife that's not 100% perfect? I'm not saying it is or isn't for the viewers. I'm just saying if your relationship isn't right with your wife, then why is that? Is it because, like I gave you context before, she said to you, oh, do you really have to bring those cameras? It's because you probably never connected on the right level to say to her, these are the reasons why, and this is why I feel so passionate about it, because I'm helping these people, or I'm helping get that person with Uganda, getting that word out there to help people, and that's really important to me. And if you give context to that from a connection point of view, then it'll probably change her perception of who you are as a person. And yeah, that happens across the board. And
yeah, that's what I need to do, because I've done that in the past on things she didn't want to do. Like, she didn't want to go scuba diving, but she went.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to go on a bike ride, but she went.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the room right now.
Oh, good. But yeah, it's I mean, coming back to your center line in regards to who's a person, there's these key fundamental things that light your soul on fire. For certain people, it might be chasing money.
One person does that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's I mean, I haven't met many people to date in an unpaid or paid capacity working with me, and my skill set was strengthened through corporate, believe it or not. So I was running teams and working with people one-on-one, and the beauty of being in that space was I was able to ask questions that for the greater good of that person first and foremost, but also for the organization. So where's this person at? Why they're fundamentally not doing with it what they need to be doing, or succeeding in their eyes? What's the reasons behind that? And for 99% of it, it wasn't what the company thought or what the managers thought were above me. It was actually a personal thing. And, it might have been, I'm actually this, and I want to be doing this outside work, but I haven't got the manager or the person that wants to give me that, that freedom or that conversation to actually acknowledge that part of my life. And because of that, I'm bitter about it, or whatever it might be. And then I come to work and I just do my job for the sake of doing my job, and I go home, but I don't actually achieve anything, or whatever it might be, and those are questions that most people struggle to ask. Those deep, dark questions. And with you, Kirk, it would be like, well, tell me all the. I love all the good parts, but where are the bad parts right now, and why are those bad? Where do those start, and what's behind those? And do those stem right back from when you were a child, or the relationships with your parents, or prior relationships with other females, or where does it all sit? And
yeah,
that's when it goes deep pretty quickly, usually.
Right.
And then I just help you work through that. Usually I just work through those moments and work through those situations. And I'm very, very conscious about pushing people too far in regards to bringing up things that they either don't want to or shouldn't, right then and there with the frame of minds they're in. So it's just, yeah, Usually for the first half an hour or 40 minutes working with me, it's usually very surface level to get your whole story and understand where you're at. And then we start to dig down to a few pathways and very quickly come to realize that, oh shit, because I do that, because of those things, I need to probably cut those things from my life, or at least acknowledge them and realize why I do them, and then come back to the surface again and actually start to implement those things in my life. So start to actually, for example, with your wife, go a bit deeper, go those 2 steps deeper. But why don't you want to go those 2 steps deeper? Well, there's probably a reason behind that. So let's look at that as well. You know what I mean? So
right. I probably didn't. I have communicated a little bit, but I know how to communicate it deeper. I mean, I've already told her.
Yep.
But it probably wasn't convincing.
Perfect.
And
like, that's the biggest part is even just in, like, usually the reception I get from when I make those comments, and I'm only making those comments because you brought them up and I don't have any context to it, so I'm just trying to lay it on too hard with you, but I've used it as context for this conversation. But most of the reception I get from when I bring those things up again is I get rebuttal, I get defensive people that put their roadblocks up and go, actually no, I do speak to my wife properly. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, why are you getting defensive all of a sudden? All I'm saying to you is, if you do this, you probably need to be thinking about what you're doing. I'm not saying you do or you don't. And that's no different to you. Like, I'm not saying whether you do or you don't. I just, maybe there's if there's rebuttal, in whatever sense it might be, and it is coming up and there's a rebuttal in regards to why are we doing that, or that's not how I saw it, or what it might be, there's usually a reason behind that. Like, otherwise it would be, she understands everything that's going on and there's no rebuttal. And you move forward in the right direction together. So when there's ever a negative defense,
she just doesn't want to. She just doesn't want to turn it into. She considers it work.
Cool. So then there's a good example. And what's her perception in regards to why she thinks that? Whereas in your mind, it'd be cool to do a couple of podcasts when I'm on the road. Like, you don't think of it as it's work. It's going to be, well, I'm out doing that anyway, so let's just chuck a couple in the mix. So her perception in regards to what the reality is actually very different to what yours probably is. And that's
the reality is this is work.
Mm. And it's because of what she's probably seen, mate. Like, and for you, like, normally, in normal sense, it is work for you.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I do it is I want to sell this as a service, done for you service. Mm-hmm. And so to be clear, I guess I don't do much marketing on these shows, but what I want to do is I want it for busy founders, C-level executives, coaches, mentors, those kind of people that's who I would envision would be my kind of ideal customer profile, right? If we were to pick one. Mm-hmm. And they're really too busy to do this. And even if they have a team, their team's probably too busy to add it on as one more thing to do. And this is all we do. So that's who I'm trying to sell this to. So in that sense, it is work, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know how I'm supposed to sell this if I'm not doing it myself. Mm-hmm. It's like the guys wanting to sell you marketing services, or I'll give a good example because we met on LinkedIn. A good example would be they want to sell you LinkedIn services, and you go look at their follower count and they're at 1,000. You go look at the dollar count. Just to be clear, it doesn't mean anything these days. Yep, doesn't mean anything. Yet to only have 1,000 followers is pretty low. Mm-hmm. It's a low bar if you're a marketer, right? Mm-hmm. I would think that you'd have a few more than just 1,000. And then you go look at their content, and they have one like. No comments or no likes. Mm-hmm. And yet they're wanting to sell me on how they're the LinkedIn marketing expert. And so in that sense, this is why I'm doing this. I mean, this isn't really, it's to sell, but it's not to sell. I don't do this to market this is not done to market my service. Maybe I need to do more of it, to be honest. I think maybe I'd rather run an ad, or an idea that I had is run a webinar or a single person podcast, or maybe bring a person on, like whoever's studio you're on, bring them on as a guest and talk podcasting, right? And just talk podcasting. And that would be my salesy kind of content that I'd create. I think we can get this content that we're talking about right now, this is the kind of content that I would be expecting to do for my clients.
Yep. Totally.
And so I'm doing what I'm wanting to sell, and do the guest management and set up the times and set up the platform and get the edits done and create the content out, which, to be fair, I'll just say it how it is. We're still working that out. I mean,
Cool.
I don't know that we're quite at the optimum level of content. What we're doing right now is we're doing one medium form piece of content and two shorts. I think we're needed probably upping that to about 3 pieces of medium sized content, which would be anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then maybe 8 to 12 pieces of shorts coming in there. And so, but we're ramping that up. We're ramping up the team and ramping up what we need to do. And so, but in the meantime, I'm getting to meet some very interesting people. And that's the bonus for Kirk.
That's the fulfilling piece, right?
Oh,
if you continue to follow that.
I just need more money because every time I meet somebody, I want to buy whatever it is they're selling, and it's not sustainable for me.
Yep. I'll hear on that one.
I like sell myself just talking to them. Yep. I mean, I didn't walk out of, and I know you're probably not doing any alcohol right now. I still drink; it's under control. So, but Dave Weglar's has a distillery in St. Louis, and I'm from St. Louis, and he emptied my wallet when I was there. I had no idea gin. I had no idea. Well, you didn't have to sell anything. You know, what did they say? A good product sells itself. You don't even have to sell it. And so he just broke out a few bottles and poured me some samples. I'm like, oh my God, I never knew gin could taste so good. I was never a gin person, and my wife happens to love gin. So I bought every bottle of gin they make except for one. And the one that I didn't buy was a super high level of alcohol. So I knew she wouldn't like it. It'd be like too much alcohol content. Yep. But so far she's loved every one that she's tried.
Brilliant.
And so she's a gin girl. And then I had a podcast. And then so from that, I met Natasha, who runs the gin room, whose nickname is the Gin Girl. And so I got to talk to her all about gin and the restaurant and all of that. So it's always exciting. And then the neat thing about her is she actually went to the same school my wife and I went to, and that my wife and I had been to her parents' restaurant when she was working there. And her restaurant was named after her. Oh, everything's 6 degrees. Whoa, talk about, you want to hear one that's really, I know this is supposed to be about you, but
I love this. Go.
I think you're going to love this.
I'm the same as you. I feel fulfilled with information and knowledge coming to my brain. So I love listening as well. So
listen to this story. This one is crazy. And do I have the picture here? I have to find the picture. So I am, on the day that my dad died was the man that was best man at my wedding. It was his wedding. And he had a best man there. And I've known his best man prior to that wedding. And that wedding was now 17 years ago. So I've known him for probably 20 or more years. And so I'm in Missouri, traveling around in Missouri, talking around. And and we get to talking, and we're discussing our dads. His dad recently passed away, but he had remembered that my dad had passed away the same day as that wedding. He's like, yeah, well, what year was your dad born? And I go, 1935. And he's like, oh, my dad too. Didn't think nothing of it. Neither one of us. It's all good. He's a home builder, so I'm talking to him. I told you I'm looking at trying to build a more affordable house. I've been talking to him about houses and, where to buy. And I told him, I was like, oh, and so I've threw a few lots his way. I go, what do you think about this lot or that lot? And so I found a lot in this town called St. Mary's near where he lives. I'm like, what do you think about this thing in St. Mary's? It's only $4,000 for an acre. I go, that seems like a pretty good deal. And he's like, oh, no, you don't want to be in St. Mary's. He goes, there's no facilities there. You need at least a gas station, a grocery store, or something like that. And I go, oh, you mean like I thought I'd throw him a curveball. I go, oh, you mean like Advance, Missouri? They got a McDonald's and a grocery store. And he's like, whoa, time out. He goes, what the fuck do you know about Advance, Missouri? My mom won't like the language. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, that's what he said, though. I'm only quoting Steve, Mom. She knows I have a bad mouth. Anyway, I go, well, my parents are from Advance. He goes, what do you mean your parents are from Advance? I go, well, that's where they went to school and that's where they met. He's like, you mean they went to Advance High School? And I go, yeah. And he goes, well, didn't you say that your dad was born in 1935? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what month? I go, May. He goes, well, my dad was born in January. So they were in the same grade. I go, what do you mean in the same grade? He goes, well, my dad went to Advent. I go, wait a minute. Your dad went to Advent High School? He's like, yeah, he did. I go, well, what was his name? He goes, Doyle. I'm like, well, hang on. I go, I'm hanging up. I'm going to call you right back. I'm calling my mom. So I hang up with Steve. I call my mom. I go, do you know Doyle Spill? She, oh, yeah. He lived on Goose Pond Hill. Goose Pond Hill, Aaron, is not on the map. The only way you know about Goose Pond Hill is because you know the area.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, I know Doyle. Yeah, he was in with your dad. I'm like, do you still have, because I remember her having recently my dad's high school graduation photo. Mm-hmm. And his last name is Spear, mm-hmm. Speer. And my dad's last name, I'm Francis. Mm-hmm. So, and I go, well, send me that picture. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay. I go, I'm calling Steve back. So I call Steve back. I go, yeah, my mom knows your dad, Doyle. And I go, she said he lived on Goose Pond Hill. And he goes, wait a minute. What do you even know about Goose Pond Hill? I go, well, my grandparents live on Goose Pond Hill. I know all about it. He's like, this is just getting weird by the moment. So about that time, mom sends me over the photo. Now you want to talk about weird. I can't get the phone to unlock. I got a new phone. I'm still learning how to use it. So I don't know if this will show up on the camera.
Yeah, it shows up.
Let me get. Okay, hold on. Let me get it so it doesn't turn. I told you his last name was S.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
My dad's last name is F.
Yep.
What are the chances that their photos would be next to each other on the high school graduation photo?
That's unreal. Not even 6 degrees. 0.1 degree.
There's the whole class.
Far out.
And so his last name is S. My dad's last name is F. Mm-hmm. And they're next to each other on the high school graduation. I mean, it's crazy. So the guy's wedding that he was best man, and Tom's mm-hmm. my best man, mm-hmm. he had a party, and then I invited my uncle, and Steve happened to be there, so he got to meet my uncle. Mm-hmm. And on my dad's side, my dad's brother. So my mom's parents that lived on Goose Pond Hill with his grandparents. So then I actually went out and had dinner with his cousin, and I don't know. It's been a crazy, crazy ride. It's just
like one of those like almost like a dream sort of ride where you're just like, how is this even right. Like this connection is so close, but yet it's never even been brought to my life, and now I'm this age, and it's just coming out of nowhere.
I know, it's just it's crazy, it's nuts. I mean, we're both like super disappointed because both of our dads were alive when we knew each other. You know, and never made the connection. Somehow never mentioned that, you know, I went, I don't know how many times I've been to Advance, Missouri. And so he might have not heard it because I don't know, it's strange. I guess it's rural. I'm not sure why, but he's, if you ask my dad where he was from, he'd say he's from Paynton.
Right.
And so Paynton's a small little town that happened to be closer to their farm where they actually grew up, right. Where they actually were born. Mm-hmm. And where they were born was no town. It was in the farmhouse at the farm. Mm-hmm. All my dad's siblings were all born on that farm, including my uncle. And Paynton just happened to be the closest mail U.S. Postal Office where they could get a mailbox where they could get their mail. Mm-hmm. And just to tell you how small that town is, I took a buddy of mine. We were on a motorcycle trip and we drove through them. He's like, I just want to see where your mom and dad's from. And I go, well, my dad was born in this town right here. And we're driving. She goes, what town? I go, you just drove through it. He goes,
that one house, that 3 houses.
There's like 3. I go, those 3 houses you drove by, that was it.
Oh, we had those same sort of towns in New Zealand. Where it's like, you just went through that town. What town? That town. Oh crap, we just went through it already. Yeah.
And then we go to the main town because I told him, I go, yeah, my mom wanted me to get some stamps and then I need to go by the post office. So I go by the post office and the guy's walking out and he goes, oh, they're closed. Oh, and he goes, I go, they open? He goes, no, they're closed. Oh, hi, Kirk. It's my cousin's husband.
Oh, far
It's like, how, like he said, you know, we say our pleasantries and then we get, he's like, how in the world did you know that person? I'm like, I go,
It ain't a big
It's
town.
a small town. It's not a big town. He goes,
Yeah.
but when's the last time you were there? I go, probably 10 years ago.
But people don't forget, obviously, in small towns, once you've been there and you know the people, it's the same thing,
And then naturally, we go to the gas station. I asked the gas clerk, I go, you wouldn't know Puerto Seaball, would you? She's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're the one person that doesn't know my grandfather. I mean, I realize he's died, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, but I mean, he was well known. And, but then the last time I went, I asked and they're like, oh, he goes, I don't know him, but I do know the Seaballs. That's my mom's maiden name. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. It's just,
it's an amazing story.
As I call it, the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. It's just crazy how things work.
It is. Absolutely. And the thing is, excuse me, the closer you fall back into that middle line, the more this starts to happen. The more yourself,
back into what line?
Like your middle line in regards to who you are as a person. Like the more you head towards that, like just open up to people and be yourself and that sort of thing. The more you realize that how closely things are connected and how you want to make things actually work and happen actually are right in front of you, but you've just never been aware of them.
Yeah, I'm a Alanis Morissette fan.
Oh yeah.
And there's a line in one of her songs. I can't remember. It's either "Thank You" or "All I Really Want." Let me check this one. And it just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it always speaks to me. And I can't play the music because they'll probably cut me off.
Do you like it because of the music, or do you like it because of the deeper meaning?
I like the deeper meaning.
Right.
I mean, I like all of the words, but the one word that really, the one part what you just said is what struck me and why I'm saying it. Here it is. The moment I let go of it was the moment I got more than I could handle. You could almost equate that to the mask.
Yep. Absolutely.
It always speaks to me when I see it.
Well, probably hence the reasons why most people aren't prepared to look at it and even deal with it. Because when you remove it, you realize it's usually a period post, enlightening people to that part of their life that they've realized for 10, 20, 30, 40. I've got couple of clients I dealt with that are into their 50s that realized for how many years they haven't been themselves. So they've been living a life that actually was nothing like what they wanted to live. And they're the ones that created all that. Like you can listen to all the external noise and all the external pathways, but in the day, you've still got to make the decisions. So, and you're the one that's put those things in your path, I don't think age necessarily is a factor that lets you get rid of that. I think it's a matter of actually, really digging in deep and self-reflecting on your life. I mean, we talk about all of this, and you and I had this last conversation, and I just think about how many years I almost feel like, how, I don't know if you've ever had this happen and you're driving down the highway and it's like you blink your eyes and next thing you know, you're like 100 miles down the highway and you don't remember any of it. Mm-hmm. Like daydream sort of thing where you're just actually in another planet for a period of time, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, we are here, I guess. Yeah, I do that actually, not a lot, but in probably the last 6-12 months it happens a bit.
Right. Yep. And I feel like that's like a metaphor for, my life in my 20s and 30s and maybe even 40s. Because I was just, going through it blindly.
Well,
or not blindly, maybe
through the motions, right?
And like a daydream or in a daze, maybe, I don't know. And I'm not a person that had how do I want to say this? Because I'm not going to claim to be all that. I didn't participate in drugs or alcohol. I'll say that much. That doesn't mean I wasn't having an addiction.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm not trying to make those claims because there's lots of addictions.
Absolutely. There is. There certainly is.
And I don't know. I definitely like food and I like sugar. So I will say that much.
And that's potentially another like massive part of your life. If you love it and it creates you other issues with your life, then what's tied to that as well.
Exactly.
Like I'm no different. Like I absolutely love food. I'm a foodie. Like I love cooking.
No, this is not about food. This is about sugar.
Sugar in particular. Okay.
Yeah. I like food.
Mm-hmm. But sugar's your
You
vice.
see me. Oh my God. Yes. You should have seen me going crazy just a couple nights ago. I wanted the honey.
Right.
Where's the honey? And the only reason why I don't drive to the store is I remember a guy that was like, he was like 300 or 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And, he had a food addiction and and I was like, I go, well, maybe I have a food addiction. And I think it was when Ozempic was still out. It was not out in the US. It was out in the UK because he actually would go get it. I don't know that it was Ozempic. I don't know what it was, but it was a drug that he said would keep him from eating. And he explained it to me what a food addiction actually meant. He's like, he goes, I was on a fishing trip on a boat with a bunch of guys for 3 days. And I volunteered to go get the car and to pick them up from the charter. He goes, before I got the car back to the marina, I stopped by and got a box of chicken and some ice cream. And by the time I got to the marina, it was gone. Like he didn't say, he goes, not an ice cream cone.
Tub of ice cream.
A tub of ice cream and a box of chicken.
Damn.
He's like, I'd wake up in the middle of the night wanting an ice cream. I would go find a 24-hour grocery store to go buy a tub of ice cream. And I would buy 2 because I'd eat 1 on the way home. And then I would eat 1 after I got home. He goes, that's a food addiction. He goes, are you thinking about lunch right now? This is like 10 o'clock. I go, no. He goes, I'm thinking about lunch and I'm thinking about dinner. I was like, wow. Okay. Yeah. I go, I'll admit you're on another level.
Then I come back to like the same question, and it's just, and then this is not right or wrong. What's behind that though? Like, yes, you love food. Yes,
my sugar desires.
Yeah, but like, I know what happens.
Personally, I think it's an escape.
You've already like taken my sins out of my mouth. I was about to go that place, but you've already done it for me. So yeah, 100%. Like you get dopamine release from eating sugar, and I'm no different. Like I've got a sweet tooth, and I will.
So is that what it is? It gives you a dopamine hit?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's like eating satiety when you're eating and you eat food, like it gives you like it's when. And don't get me wrong, people eat for nutritional value, and people obviously eat for emotional value. And if it's tied to the secondary one, then what's that tied to? Is it tied to you not being happy with yourself, so you validate by eating sugar, and makes you feel good when you eat it? Like, and that's actually like for example,
it doesn't make me feel good being overweight. That's the fight. That's the struggle.
That's what I was talking about before, and I was literally about to say that with me. Like I'm a foodie, I love food, and I'm naturally a reasonably solid lad, and I can put on weight pretty quickly if I don't look after myself, and that's the vice for me. Like I can demo, when we have, my wife and I love burgers. Burgers is our like kryptonite, and when we're like going to have a meal, it'll be like, let's just do burgers, and like it's for me, it's not one burger, it's 2, and then the sides as well, because I just love food. And
what about the sauces? You like the sauces too?
Yeah, I love them. Like I love them.
Yeah.
Like and
they're
and,
loaded with sugar.
Oh, it's crazy. And yeah, I know the consequences of when I do that. And it's just this constant vice. But then I look at myself and I look at, what I'm not doing, which is not exercising enough, which is what I love doing. And I've taken a few things out of my life, which I need to put back in my life, because it's just, I've said to myself, I haven't got enough time on my hands. Like and then that just creates this catalyst for collapse, right? And then when you do eat too much food all the time, then it becomes, what's another night anyway? And then you go through this period, and I went through this period just recently of just like putting on an extra friggin' 7 or 8 kilos and feeling just not good about myself. So how do I fix that? I go back to doing the things that actually matter to me, which is exercising and not compromising on that, and maintaining and I feel way more empowered when I don't eat what I need to, like don't eat those bad large meals, and I exercise daily. I feel amazing. I feel like on top of the world, and then it flows onto everything else I'm doing, all my work and my connections with people and my relationships and my sleep and that sort of stuff.
Why do we fall out of the habit? At least I fall out of the habit. I mean, I know it's good for me. I know I feel good when I do it, yet it's a struggle to get, like Elena went to go to the gym. Like she is, don't mess with her when it's gym time, because she will That's when she
It's
becomes
good.
the spicy Latina.
It's good.
She will become spicy when if I try to get her to not, oh, let's go do X, Y, or Z and not let you do your workout.
Yep.
That's when I've crossed the line.
I love that conviction. That's
she's
amazing.
Convicted. I'm not. I wish I could be like her.
I think it's a balancing point, to be honest. I think it's not as simple as just saying it's tied to something else. I think, discipline in life is the hardest thing to accomplish. You can forget making millions of dollars, you can forget anything like that, those things, and those things come with discipline. But self-discipline on any level to achieve anything is by all means the hardest thing to achieve in life. I can't emphasize it enough. I haven't met anybody that's I've met people that are militant because they've been, it's been instilled in them from a parent or from a work ethic point of view that they're militant and that is classed as discipline. But I have met people that are just disciplined with like every aspect of their life, and then people that are militant with
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, that's why I was rewatching the episode with him and Andrew Huberman, talking about the cold plunge.
Mm-hmm.
And Huberman was talking about how he's like goes into the warmer one.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why don't you just do the cold one? You just go in there and you do it, and even Rogan. And then the thing is, as good as he is, and if we want to, put ourselves in judgment with, or comparison with he's at. And even he even says, oh, I get tempted. Oh, I'll just have a cup of coffee before I go jump in the cold plunge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you just go do it.
Yep.
Don't hesitate. You just do it. It's like, it's 12 minutes. I think the way the transfer goes, it's been 12 minutes, me drinking my coffee. I could have already been done with the cold plunge.
Yep.
And, I made the excuse today. I had a podcast this morning. I didn't cold plunge today, but I did cold plunge the last 5 days. So, good. I'm already ahead of the curve there, but I
think it's the balance point there, right? So you haven't done it today for whatever reason, but then it's not reverting back to, and the food's no different, to going, okay, didn't do it yesterday, what's another day? And then that discipline falls out of alignment, and then it ends up being a whole week we haven't done cold plunges, and then it ends up being another couple of months, and then you're like, I've got to sort that out again and get back onto it again. It becomes this massive, constant juggling act, trying to get back to it again. So I think it's really important that,
like not wanting to take a cold shower. What got me started with all this is cold showers.
Yep, good eye.
Used to, I couldn't go in and do a cold shower straight on. It was like, I'd be like, stop being a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got in and did the face first and the front, but then I didn't want to do my back. So in the last probably 6 months, I can go all in on the cold shower. There's no hesitation now. My wife's like, I don't know how you do that. I just go straight in, no hesitation. And I'm trying to do the same thing on the cold plunge. You just go in, head under, get
it done.
But Rogan, the guy's a freaking animal.
Yep.
I mean, he's the same age as me.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't take testosterone supplements because his workout regimen, his diet, and his whole routine produce enough testosterone that he doesn't need it supplement.
But then you got to ask the question in regards to where's the rest of his life sitting? Is this extreme in this part of his life, and then the rest of the life? And we don't know for a fact. I'm just saying, like, it's always a question to be asked, right? And
but I would imagine it's somewhat decent. I mean, and the reason why I'm making that assumption is that having that exercise routine, having the sauna and the cold plunge routine, obviously, if you look at his physique, he has a proper diet routine. He's super into the health side of it. That's not to say that the rest of it's perfect, but dude, it's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't fall down. I bet he does. We're all human. But if you have everything dialed in like he's got, I mean, and even he admitted it, like himself. I mean, he struggled financially earlier, and talking about how he's got I'm not sure my credit card is going to work. He admitted it. It's a nice feeling to be able to slap down a credit card and buy the meal for the whole table and not have to even think about, well, is that going to go through or not?
100%.
And so when you add financial stress or the lack of there, that's definitely another improvement. It's never an excuse. Yet at the same time, have you ever heard of Dr. Murray Banks?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, I've heard.
He's older. He's since passed. You can find his stuff on YouTube. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please do.
And there was this tape that my dad would listen to, and I guess my dad struggled. And his way of working through his struggles was listening to Dr. Murray Banks. He actually went and saw him live, even with my mom. And it's he talks about, you know, comfort versus discomfort, and how wealth isn't solving your problems. And I'm totally messing up the story, but when you'll hear it, you'll definitely get a chuckle. And this one talks about this one woman. She's like, well, I'd rather be, you know, I guess she was in a bad relationship. She was like, well, I'd rather be miserable and be in comfort than being miserable and be in discomfort.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Finances don't change your misery level, right? It's a matter of comfort. And, yeah.
The worst thing is it amplifies everything, right? So if you've started on that wrong track and you started on that wrong framework, and then everything increases, whether it be financial, whether it be relationships, whether it be whatever it might be, and you continue down that path on the wrong frameworks, then it ends up being catastrophic at the other end, for sure.
I remember talking to somebody. Who was it? I remember talking to somebody, or maybe it was a video. I don't know. They dealt with celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that the celebrities that were jerks when they were just starting out versus when they get success, they're usually just a bigger jerk than they were when they were just starting out.
Yep.
And the ones that were nice, like it's a multiplier, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
The ones that were nice when they were starting out and then they get successful, they're actually that much more nicer when they reach success.
They now have accessibility to more things, right?
Have you heard that before?
I have, yeah. Yep.
So but back to what you're saying, the financial aspect of your life, all it does is it's going to multiply you.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it's going to be a good thing.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So yeah, that's exactly everything I talk about, mate. When it comes to our master side of things, is just really looking at what your frameworks are currently built on, and actually, are those the right frameworks or are they the wrong frameworks? Because if they're the wrong ones, you're never going to find peace. It's never going to happen. And if you're forever struggling.
So part of your unmasking is like what, I mean, it sounds like you work with quite a few different people.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that they were seeking when they found you? Because you're not probably an easy person to find. You're not Tony Robbins or one of these kind of Mel Robbins or Gary Vee, or, you know, you're not at that level yet.
Mm-hmm.
So to find you is, I'm guessing, somewhat difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Most people are not going to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have, you know, I'm not doing this in a podcast format. I'm not doing, you know, social media where it's blastering myself all over the internet. Like, I use LinkedIn for a medium to be able to, like, you know, for professionals, because most of the space that I deal with is that sort of 30s to, I'd say 50s at a push age group. Don't get me wrong, I'm capable of dealing with years younger than that and older than that, but that's the large chunk of that works in that space. And it's because we come into that period of crux part of our life where we've got all these things we're talking about, right? The house, the family, the kids, the career, what it might be, and it becomes this very pressure cooker environment. So it seems to be the more, loaded part of the age group of life where people have the most issues, I guess. So yeah, when it comes to with what I do in finding me, it's more a case of my visibility needs to be better going forward, and that'll happen naturally by itself. You know, at the moment I've got a fair few clients I work with, so I'm not.
What are they seeking?
They're seeking themselves. They're seeking them being in a space where there's something off, and they know it's off, but they're not 100% sure how to identify that and actually acknowledge it and actually do anything with it. So we, you know, I've got people in my life, friends, acquaintances and family that will, you know, say things are perfect, but the frameworks are horribly built. And you see the results of those frameworks, which is fallout or damage or destruction or negativity, and you got to ask yourself, like, if an environment's creating two negatives, is it really a good environment? Like, if you're taking two things, whether it be two people or an environment against with itself in like two different settings, and that destroys people or ends up like putting them backwards or into a negative state of mind or an environment, then that needs to be looked at as I shouldn't be doing this. Like, it needs to be changed. It needs to be looked at from how do I turn this around to be a positive? And whether it's just to start with me being positive and then hopefully affects other person. What usually happens is if you start to be yourself, it's natural selection. It's like evolution. You start being yourself, and then it takes shape by itself because you start to be yourself, and people that will like you or that love you for who you are will be more attracted to you, and the people that aren't, you start to rub it the wrong way. That's what usually happens the first when
like
people
a magnet.
Yeah. What the hard part is you realize how many people shouldn't be in your life. Is the hard part to deal with.
But isn't it not the easy part, Aaron, that you'll just repel them anyway?
That's what I mean. That's the beauty of it, right? The thing is, people are so used to having all these false and these falsities in their life, and they're so used to like holding on to it as an identity that when you actually be yourself and you flip the switch, I talk about like the hardest part is actually keeping the mask off. Like it's not like removing the mask is one thing, but then when you actually remove it and actually you are yourself, it's all the noise and all the people that actually go to me, you shouldn't be doing that, and why are you doing that, and that's because you've created all those people that are in your life, and one by one they slowly start to drop off, and you realize actually it's pretty lonely out there when you're actually yourself because you've built your whole life on the things you shouldn't have built, and then you have to start to rebuild them again, and it takes time. It takes time to put people and environments back into your life that are actually there for the right reasons, and it's refreshing, but it's hard work to start with, and most people will struggle with it because. Especially when you get to like mid-30s or 40s and you realize that actually I've now got another 3, 5, 10 years ahead of me. It's going to be rebuilding my life to a certain degree from scratch again. Like the relationships, the work, the people I love, the people I want to be around me, relationships with my children, like all these things. And, I can't imagine anybody on the face of this planet that wouldn't say they want to be happy. Like, I just don't see it. I just can't see it. Like, why wouldn't you want to be happy?
I might say that.
Well, you might.
Yeah, I might say that. Yeah, I would say. I would think that my top priority would be more contentment.
Yeah, which is to a certain degree tied to the same thing, is it not? Like happy, content,
it might be,
fulfilled.
But I guess maybe I'm being too philosophical or whatever. But to me, what do they say? Happiness is fleeting.
Yep, for sure. It's a fleeting emotion, absolutely. It's probably the wrong context from my side of things, but yeah, content's probably a better word.
So
like
I definitely
ease, like settled in regards to where things are at.
At ease.
Yeah, it's a better way of putting it. Absolutely.
Is that the same thing though that you're trying to get across?
Yeah, that's 100%. Like I probably use the wrong word for that to bring it to light. So your words and your context is much better. But yeah, like I wouldn't mention anybody on this planet that wouldn't want to be like at ease with their
content
life.
or at ease. Yeah, 100%. Now I can 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Happy was the wrong context. Apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's no need to apologize. You be you.
Why am me? It's fine. But yeah, I mean, I just can't see it. I can't see anybody that would want to go and go, I love being angry and I love like hating my relationships and I love just
I don't like
so much
being
pressure
angry.
on my shoulders. Like
I don't like being angry. Can't see it. No.
So if that's the case, and there's environments,
the thing I don't like about it is you're letting somebody else control you, and you're handing your power away, and that's the part. I mean, I just got angry yesterday, so I have no business preaching about this. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I do because I have personal experience.
You do. It's fresh.
But you let somebody else take control over you, right? At the end of the day, and
was that control based on, if you don't mind talking about it a little bit, was it control based on frameworks you'd already built? So you didn't have the opportunity to be able to say what you needed to say, or that person probably shouldn't have been in your life potentially in the first place?
Oh no, that person definitely needs to be in my life because it was my wife.
I was going to say, I know where this is going next. Yeah. But is the framework built on the wrong things?
I think so. I get frustrated when I get misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And, I've been bullied a lot. There's probably some context with that as well. Mm-hmm. And that's probably where if I was to do some deep psychotherapy or hypnosis or something to dig in and peel back all the layers where this all, because I've had since Thursday or Friday, I've had multiple situations and it's just been building. Really bad, like multiple situations.
I can see the situation already in my head, the framework that it's sitting on.
So, so I had a doctor that wouldn't write me a letter for traveling to the UK and to EU. And then so the false accusations really trigger me. So they accused me of, well, you need to plan better. You should have made an appointment 2 weeks prior to your travel date. And I'm like, I did.
Mm-hmm.
You canceled it. Well, I didn't cancel it. I go, well, your office canceled it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're trying to lecture me on how I was supposed to plan better when you guys canceled my appointment, which was made so that you could write the letter that I need. And you keep refusing to write the letter. And it just she just kept berating me. I'm like, you know, finally, I threatened to call the medical board. I actually have a letter written because I supposed to have an appointment tomorrow. They actually I don't think they ever called me and told me what time my appointment is. They just told me it was tomorrow. So I'll be showing up at the office and they don't have an appointment. And I refused to call them to make the appointment because they told me they made the appointment. And I guess I'll either walk away with my letter or I won't, but I will file a complaint with the medical board. You know, this is ridiculous that I got to jump through all these hoops to get a letter written.
Do you want to put a slight a baby bombshell in your world or a spanner in your world?
Go ahead.
Do you reckon you're frustrated do you reckon you're frustrated and grumpy with the people you're dealing with? Do you reckon you're frustrated and grumpy with yourself?
No, I'm probably frustrated about the situation.
How long have you known you've been going on this trip for?
Oh, a long time.
It's come down to the crux period where you need this piece of paper to go on that trip and you can't get it. So is it actually fundamentally their problem or is it your problem?
Well, it's their problem because I made the appointment to do it and they called me and canceled, and I didn't. When they did it, I completely forgot why I made the appointment, right? And they called me to cancel it to tell me that the office was closed.
Is there any reason why it could have been done months ago?
Probably because I have a quarterly appointments anyway, and so this was a regular quarterly appointment, and then I decided that it would make sense to do it when I had it scheduled. So the appointment was the trip is in a week, and the appointment was 2 weeks ago.
And do you fundamentally need this piece of paper to be able to go?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I might have my meds confiscated,
which will be
it's just a risk I don't want to. I mean, why stress over it? Get the letter, you know. And they're trying to tell me, you know, and and this is what you also know. They're like, well, we don't want to give you a letter until you've got confirmation from the airlines that you need it. Well, the airlines aren't the people. I mean, I call the airlines like a big dummy and waste my time trying to talk to the idiots on the other line of that phone call. And they're like, we don't control that. That's the TSA. And I go, what about in the UK? He's like, well, you're going to have to call them. And I'm like, well, that's really nice as the carrier that I'm flying on that you can't tell me anything about anything. I mean, you're completely worthless. And I guess the frustrating part is that you got all these people out there working these jobs that don't want to work these jobs. And their goal is to get out of the work. They don't want to. I mean, dude, they could have written this letter a long time ago and had the doctor sign it. So they're working me over for an extra appointment fee. It's just the entire system is complete BS. You got the security agencies that are being ridiculous too. That, you know, you got the people there that, depending on what kind of mood they are when they show up to work and how much they want to throw their weight around, how bad they want to make your day.
Yep.
I've had it happen. I've been withheld on an international flight out of Miami. I've been withheld for brushing up against a TSA officer for diving after my laptop that was going to fall off the conveyor belt. And at the end of the day, the supervisor on duty told me, next time, just let the laptop fall. That was his response to me.
Consider his frustrations.
So I've got some history to back all of this. And so it's, you know, those, I guess you'd call that a trauma.
Micro traumas. Yeah.
And intentionally withholding me as long as luckily I showed up in plenty of time for my flight. But they were deliberately trying and hoping that I would miss my flight, in my opinion, playing their silly games. And
so you've already got a predisposed conception in regards to what's going to happen, potentially could happen, or the environment you're currently going into. So your I guess behaviors and what you're going to be dealing with is already set in a defensive way, just from what I'm hearing.
Well, yeah, 100%. Right.
For every interaction, no matter what it is to do with anything to do with it, it's always going to be from I need you to fix, or I need you to deal with it, rather than, well, you should be dealing with it, rather than what can I be doing to help it.
And understand, this phone call that I had was after about 5 or 6 email exchanges where they kept refusing. I mean, I wrote the letter for them. All it needs is a signature. I've been on this medication for over 2 years. There's no reason not to write the letter and to sign the letter.
I would disagree.
It's absolutely. You would disagree?
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah. I mean, if I was a new patient, or if I was new to the meds, if they didn't have a current, they actually have a current level on file. So I just had the levels checked. So they have that as well. There's literally zero excuse not to, but they want me to come into the office. So, I mean, my backup, I have an appointment with, I wouldn't call her my primary because I don't know, but she's basically my primary. So I have that appointment on Wednesday. And so I'm seeing her just to get refills on everything before I go that I need, that she will write scripts for. And I mean, like, I'm bringing an EpiPen. I'm not worried about that. I guess I could go get a letter for that. I just don't think the nature of an EpiPen is going to be something that someone's going to question. But to bring my hormone replacement therapy with syringes and needles that are not, there's no
regulated by the current country going to.
Right. And there's no, so I have the vial, which is small and it's under 3 ounces, which is not going to be a problem. And it's got a prescription assigned to it. But, I'm not 100% sure about the needles and the syringes situation. I mean, are they going to confiscate all of it? I don't honestly think they're going to confiscate anything. But it's just the nature of how, I mean, I've had them confiscate. Do I have it in my pocket? I do. I think I just pulled it out of the car because no, I don't. But I had a little tiny knife. I mean, this thing was so small. Boom, they took that. I think they even took a pair of fingernail clippers the other day. And so they're going to let me come in with a needle. I don't know. I mean, and then who knows?
It's a flow effect from there, right? So these that conversation.
It's not the end of the world if they take it, but it's just, it offers an additional level of stress and everything else. And that's what I told them in the email when I requested a letter. I go, does this really require it? I'm like, I don't know. I can't get an answer out of anybody. It's because I can't get an answer. Just give me the letter. And it's like, I understand what's so difficult about putting your name on a letter on a prescription that you've already prescribed. All you're doing is stating this person's under my care and this is a prescription that they have and that they need to continue their treatment plan while they're on vacation. That's it. That's all it says. You're not saying anything, some kind of craziness, right? And so to be honest, after I get my letter, I'm never going back. When I go, I'm driving there tomorrow, and when I go there, I'm going to ask for a copy of all my medical records, and I'll probably tell them to go fuck off.
And then what's that created for you for the next few days? It's created a flow-on effect from that, wasn't it? Obviously,
maybe, but I don't really care because I'm going to my primary the next day, and I think
I'm saying the negativity around that for you in regards to how you're feeling has created a flow-on effect for your life, right? So there's been other scenarios now since that in regards to you. By the sounds of it, you said to me, you got
100%. Yeah, 100%. Trying to buy a car and the guy doesn't want to give me a. What did he says, I'm not even going to approach my sales manager because you said you've never test drove this car. I'm like, I told him, I go, we have 2 bank of approval. We have 2 banks that are approved. One we have a draft from. So we have the draft already. So it's like, if he wants to try to beat the rate, great. We'll, run the credit again, see if you can beat the rate. But if you can't beat it or can't get it approved, it doesn't matter. I have a draft. Okay. And then I told him, I go, I bought a car. The car that we're trading, we actually bought while we were on a plane. like literally bought the car while we were on the plane, sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I said I bought a car over the internet. I actually bought it while I was on the plane, and he's still giving me lip about how he didn't want to take it back. You know, all I asked, I didn't even try to negotiate with him, Aaron. I just said, "What's your price?" Period. I didn't even ask him what his best price is. I just said, "What's your price?
Mm-hmm.
Can you write it up for me and tell me?" I go, "This is what they had on." They got all these different websites for dealers, and they quote you prices. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think those prices are. I'm sure there's disclaimers on them. They're not. What's the word I want? Enforceable, right? I can't like. Oh, I got this, and you have to match it. No, but I mean, it's probably pretty close anyway. I mean, and I don't know what you know about the car industry in the United States. There's not a lot of room on the cars anyway.
Nah,
I mean, maybe $3,000 or $4,000. That's and you know. I know some people are like, well, that's a lot of money. I go, I guess it is in the big scheme of things, but as far as negotiations go, it's not there's you don't have a lot of room to go. They make their money on the service and they make their money in the finance department with the financing and all the extra warranties.
Correct.
That's where they make the bulk of their money. And I already know this. So I don't even play that game because it's not worth the stress.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted them to give me, before I go over there, I wanted to know what is the deal before I go. It was a 3-hour drive to get there. I go, before I drive over here, I wanted, well, I can't bring that to my boss. And I was like pissed, you know.
So what was the solution?
Well, my neighbor happens to be the regional manager for the manufacturer. And I told him the problem. And he's like, you need to go over to this store and talk to the general manager. He's expecting you.
Cool.
So he put me together a deal on a new one that was frankly incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the cars that he's actually able to deal on.
Move some,
more. He's got more variables on.
Yep.
And I just told him, I go, look, man, it's just, I just can't do it. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm sorry, because they have a special going on right now. We got a plug-in hybrid. So they have a special going on that offers like, I think like a $7,500 rebate from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, that's only on leases and that's only on ones that are current model year. I can't do it. The only one he had that matched my specs was 1-year-old model year, but it was brand new. I was like, oh, because I told him, I was like, I felt bad because I go, we were so far apart. And I go, dude, I know there's no, there's no way that I'm not asking you to lower the price of that. I go, it's ridiculous. But I go, I thought there was that 7,500 that would have got us close. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, but I can't do that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And so he's like, well, wait a minute, don't leave yet.
Good salesman. Yep.
And so he's like, yeah, let me see if I can figure something out. So they went and checked their inventory, and I completely forgotten about it because we really didn't want that color. Mm-hmm. And he pulls out another one that had 5,000 miles on it. And guess what? It still was about, I think it came out to about $120 more than we wanted to spend per month. Mm-hmm. But we went ahead and went with it. It wasn't crazy amount more. And we got what we wanted, not the color. And actually, to be honest, I don't mind the color. She wanted a red one, which probably not been a good idea. It probably would have been more speeding tickets. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say, you know what? It was probably a good thing we didn't get the red one. Mm-hmm. And so we actually found the guy that was giving me trouble wasn't a red one. It was a gray one. So we were happy with the gray color. But we had 3 gray cars. And she's like, I'm kind of done with gray. Let's do something different. Mm-hmm. And so this is a super dark blue. It actually looks black in the shade. When the sun hits it, you can see the blue. So it's a super dark blue. And they made us a deal, and I was done. And but it wasn't pleasant being around Kirk prior to that, going out and test driving. And I just thought I was laughing in my head about the salesman that said, you need to test drive one. And I'm like, so if I'm test driving one, you think I'm driving all the way there to test drive it without knowing the price? No, I'm going to go local and test drive it. And I go, you just caused yourself his deal on paper was better than the deal I got. But according to the dealer I bought it from, he's like, there's no way he could have made that deal to you. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know how he's like, I'm not sure how those numbers work for them. Cause he goes, I can't get those numbers to work for me. I got the same car, as what they call it, certified pre-owned. So it comes with all the warranties and everything. It's a great way to go.
He probably couldn't make that deal work. And the reason why he wanted to get you over there was because he was trying to sell you something different.
Right. That's the other trick that they have. They get you in. They get you there. They know you drove 3 hours to get there.
You got it.
You're not going to want to go back home empty-handed.
You got it.
And so, but that's like hard sales technique that doesn't work on me.
Yep, neither it should.
And yeah, and these guys were not doing hard sales at all. They were super. I mean, let's put it this way, and I wasn't doing hard sales either. Like I told you, I know there's not a ton of room on there.
Yep.
So I don't even. It's not worth. I'm not going to sit there with the back and forth for the next 5 hours. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, who knows how much I could have got him down more? I don't know, but apparently there was a little bit more meat on the bone that he could have gave to me because blowing the rate, threw in a few extra warranties, all for the same price that he originally quoted me, which is fine. And then, and it's lucky to have my neighbor I have, because let me tell you, they're like, oh, that was the one that so-and-so sent over here. We better take care of that one. So
cool.
And then I go to that dinner, and they had the silent auction. And so they had a little gift basket there. And I told my wife, I go, we just need to buy that. And we give our neighbor. So I got that for him, gave him neighbor, helped out the cause of the school, and
amazing.
Got my neighbor a nice gift, and everybody, win-win all the way around. So
post that, was there any negative flow effect from that, from those last 2 situations? I mean, the car was a good one, or ended up being a good one. It started as a negative, but ended up as a positive. What has there been other situations post that now, since there's been some other meltdowns?
Yeah, the seatbelt was broke on the car, ended up being broke on the car. They gave us the wrong carpet for the back. What else did she talk about? She had to go over there today. And
what about post that though? So what about the post the car? Has there been other things that have been not right?
Yeah.
So other situations?
Yeah, I got to the podcast this morning in person, and they wanted to do it on the sofa, and I was not prepared to do it on a sofa.
So how did you adjust to that? Did it cause you some problems?
It did, but I went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, I don't know. It's just the way my brain works. I always like having a backup. Mm-hmm. So I keep an extra set of little mics in my, and they're in a case that has a battery with it, so they stay charged. Yep. And that was in my bag, and so I couldn't use my tabletop micro. Mm-hmm. I couldn't use these. I had them with me, but I couldn't use them. Yep. And so I had the labs work, but then the labs decided not to work. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't sync, and there was this and there was that, but I got it working in the end. Just made it happen. And I am self-talking to myself. I'm like, why can't they just do this at the table? But neither one of them wanted to do it at the table. The woman that was hosting, she wasn't in the podcast, but she was hosting it at her location. And they're like, we have this all set up just for you.
You're like,
and I didn't have the heart to say, I just don't want to do it there, because they, for whatever reason, had the heart that they wanted to do it there. So it's all good. I mean, she's super nice. I couldn't say no.
Compromise.
Yeah. I mean, I have the mics. And so I'm thinking that on the one side, and on the other side, I'm thinking, well, you need to figure out how to use these stupid damn things anyway. Because if you have a situation where you need to use them, so I guess we're just going to learn right now. And I go, how are we doing on time? And they said, we're doing fine. And I'm like, this might take another half an hour. And they're like, that's fine. So it all worked out.
Positive in the end.
Yeah, totally.
Excellent.
That's usually the case in most cases. I mean,
it's usually you just talking yourself out of it and being negative, which usually causes the most of the problems.
Yeah, and letting the ego fly off the handle.
Ego's a big one for everybody.
Yeah. That ego is just
I give the good context to that. Like, I went and got some family photos done with my my wife and my son on Saturday, whenever it was, just recently in the last couple of days. And I was dressed up like I normally am, like really nice, like how I like to dress. Had my hair done, so did my wife, and then my son comes out in his get up, which was fine, and what he was wearing was fine. And I said, "Hey mate, any chance you want to put some stuff through your hair, because he's got a bit of a which eye class is, which he doesn't think I think it is the same thing, but a bit of a mop top at the moment, whereas his is growing long and it's a bit messy all over the place. Seems to be the in fashion thing at the moment. So I said, any chance you want to put some water through it or some product through it just so it looks a bit tidier? And then he said, no, I don't want to. And then I had to check myself because I was like, what am I wanting him to do that for? Is it because I want to look good and my ego to be in check when we go to have these photos so I can say this is my son, or have him involved in these photos to be able to present him to everybody else? Or is it because, I'm actually looking after his best interests? And then I just stopped and I was like, mate, if you want to have your hair messy today and don't want to have anything in it, I'm cool with that. And it's just such a different perspective to look at life.
I probably would have added though, we're getting these printed and sending these to everybody.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would just to make sure he understands. Yeah, for sure. I see
because he's a young man. He might not understand the impact of his hair being messy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with what you just said then as well. Absolutely. Now you say it.
Not the point I was trying to make is you have to put product in your hair.
Yeah,
be like,
absolutely,
dude. You can say no, but I just want to make sure you understand.
100%.
We're sending this to grandma, and we're sending it to your auntie, and it's going to go out there. So you're sure you like this is how you want to look, because I'm okay with it. You can do whatever you want.
Noah's, I must admit, he's definitely cut of the same cloth from me. Once he sets his mind on something,
fall far from the tree, huh?
Once he sets his mind on something, he is definitely hell bent on making sure it happens. So, and
how
I'm cool
old
with
is he
that.
Now?
He's 8, but he's we talked about last time, twice exceptional. So ADHD, but also is extremely gifted. So his IQ is at something crazy at the moment, and his articulation levels at an adult level already, which is mental, but it causes me some challenges. But at the same time, it's fun because
and immature at the same time.
Yeah, emotionally for sure, absolutely. Emotionally, right. Doesn't have an adult emotion for sure. He's still learning how to do that.
But he could sit here with us having this conversation. That's crazy.
Yep, not probably the context that I can talk to, because I've had 37 years of life to be able to give context to certain situations.
Yeah,
so
but I've met some. I was in Scouts and I met some young boys like that. Which just, like they would have to make a speech and they'd want to write it out and stuff like that. And they were, I don't know how old they were. They were like 4th grade. How old's 4th grade? You're 5, so like 9, like same age. Yeah, 8, 9, 10, in that same range. And I'm reading this, I'm going, this is like high school level, you know? And this is just some little kid in elementary school, and I'm like, oh my goodness, just blow you away. But it's just a different kind of intelligence, right? So my kid doesn't have that. He didn't have that, but he's got the mathematics, he's got the memory, he's mechanical. And so just
gifted in another sense, right?
Oh, for sure, gifted. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and
just finally got him into a Montessori school.
Oh, cool.
And that's what he graduated from high school. And it's just like it was night and day. Sees D's and F's.
Individuals rather than masses, right? So you're moving someone from we're focusing on the person instead of you. The person has to fit the framework. It's the other way around, which is I personally think that should be, to be honest. Like everyone's individual for a reason,
right?
And I think we should look after that and cultivate healthier pathways for people that want to do things. If someone wants to be at the age of 8 a rocket scientist, why not? And what is it going to take them to get them to that point? Rather than going, actually, no, you need to learn that, and that, which has got nothing to do with being a rocket santist. And,
you need to take a foreign language, and you need to take this and that, and
we'll break you in the process, and then you'll probably be being there anyway. Which is what usually happens. And then you find out that person's actually just working in a frigging coffee shop. But if you push them on from the age of 8 and their IQ was already high and it would have been higher as they got to an adult, they probably would be a rocket scientist. But we just seem to crush people's personalities because we think we can.
Well, we got to focus on the weaknesses instead of the strengths. Absolutely. I think there's been some recent studies done. From a personal growth perspective, it's definitely the thing that people need to be focusing on is their strengths. You can't really, you can get, what was that? I actually was trying to I got to look it up now. Now, it's the second time I'm referencing this guy. Oh my God. I think his name, let's see. I'll go pull the book out of my, pull the book out of my shelf as I have his book. Is like the it's something to do with he was talking about the myelin in the brain and the neurons, and how if you go and do things over and over and over again, eventually you can build up that myelin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's actually quite interesting. And he was showing a video of Tiger Woods bouncing the ball on the end of a club, and then hitting it up higher, and then swinging it and hitting it. And it showed him like all the different steps of him getting to that level of being able to do that. And eventually at the end of this little video, it shows him basically doing the same thing that Tiger Woods did. So I think he's trying to make a point, and I get his point. His point is, even if it's a weakness of yours and you don't quite have the skill set, you can learn it, right? But I think I still think that the fact is that we focus too much on the weaknesses, trying to bring up weaknesses. It's such a struggle to do that.
I don't disagree. I think you're bang on the money. I think looking at your weaknesses and doing something about them is important. Sorry, I've had a cold for the last couple of weeks. I think it's important to look at your weaknesses and at least understand why they're weaknesses. But I think focusing only on your weaknesses, I don't think, or majority of the time on weaknesses, I don't think is a healthy pathway. I think strengthening the strengths you've already got, and they're obviously strengths for a reason. And you know what those strengths are. Ultimately what they are day to day and how you run your life as it is. So if anything, they should be the ones you should be spending more time with and actually just making sure they're actually the right strengths and what you want to be doing.
I found it finally. Driving me Daniel Coyle, the talent code.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of him?
No.
Okay. Yeah, he was a I guess a broadcast person on TV. So he's on the TV, and he completely froze for I guess 30 seconds or a minute. I mean, on broadcast television, I mean, that would be on prime time. That's even if it was only 10 seconds. Suicide. It was, an eternity, right? And dead air, essentially dead air. And anyway, we wrote this book, and it was just interesting about, basically trying to uplift people. You can learn these new skills and you can get better. Yet at the same time, I feel like the school systems that we have right now, they're so focused on not enhancing what you're skilled at and just worrying about all the weaknesses based on the way the grading system works and everything, all the scoring and all the teaching to the test, and you got to pass the test and do all this stuff. Back to what you said, some of these young children could have been a brilliant medical researcher or a rocket scientist or computer engineer coming up with the next best, greatest AI engine they get stifled because they don't know how to do a foreign language, or they can't write, grammar very well, or whatever their weakness is. And yet instead we should focus on those strengths. So I think it's just an overall thing in society and even the workplace.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you, do you address that at all when trying to maybe help people's maybe part of their struggle is the fact that they seem like they have to be good at this one thing,
it's across the board though, isn't it? It's not just one thing. It's I'm trying to fit into these different spaces where I have no skill set in those spaces, or I think I do, and I'm really stuffing it up because I need to be doing it to be seen, or I need to be doing it to be loved or appreciated, or feel validated, or push on to a new career path, whatever it might be. Well, I'm like, why though? Does it make you happy? No. Does it, make you grumpy? Yes. Does it make me come home each night wishing I'm not doing it? Yes. Then what actually makes you happy in that environment? Or nothing. Well, then why are you doing it? Like, what's your actual purpose for doing that? And if it makes you grumpy, then don't do it. Or at least start on a pathway of understanding what the healthy, good things are in that environment. And if there's so many negatives in that environment, then you need to look at a pathway to head out of that environment. Like, head towards the thing that makes you happy. If it's spending time with this,
I got a spin on that, and I don't want to give you details. It's a personal story, and I'm not really comfortable sharing
Absolutely.
But what I will share is, what if the issue is a past trauma, but the actual thing that you're trying to do is good? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. What's your context of? So when you mean good, you mean good for the greater good of humanity, good for yourself in regards to
maybe the greater good for you and your family.
Okay.
Yet you're challenged because of past trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That doing that activity triggers.
Okay, you're going with this one without going into too much detail. For me, working with anybody in that space would be looking at what those traumas actually are, or what those things are tied to. So, like when something happens, and we'll have to have obviously context, so we can't absolutely
I
go into it
understand
today with you, but I won't pull it all apart today with you. But if we can bring up a context with when that happens, so for example, when someone says something, or when someone does something, or when you feel a certain way in an environment, what are those feelings when it happens, and what are they tied to? And this is how I feel. I feel like anxiety, I feel tight-chested, I can't do that sort of stuff. Or angry, okay, angry, cool. Let's use that for context. So if it's angry,
extreme anger.
Okay, cool.
Unrealistic anger.
Okay, cool. That's anger's a real easy one to deal with because it's usually tied to certain things. So
well, this was a past trauma.
Mm-hmm. And then we can't just go.
I know it all, but yet it still happens.
Mm-hmm. It's because we don't build safe pathways back from that place. So we go, I'm just going to try to ignore it. I'm just going to try, like, next time it happens, I'll just try to acknowledge it and just deal with it. Like, it'll just be fine. We can't do that. We need to have a safe place in which we can slowly micro break that trauma to get to a point where actually, it's no longer a scary, ugly place that makes me be angry. And it's not going to happen. It won't happen in one instance. It's not going to be one of these things where I'm like, hey, Kirk, it's what triggers you now. You know how to, like, that's actually not happening in your life. So just when it happens again, just get over it. Like, that's not how it works. It will never happen like that. It's like
right, because I'm already at that point.
Exactly right. So let's have the people,
and it's still, and it doesn't work.
So
I mean, I feel like in some ways I'm a lot further than a lot of people. At least I can go, okay, it's this, and this is what happens, and that's what triggers it. But beyond that.
So it's having that environment, whether it be people or environment, so a situational.
It's
or
both in this
person.
case.
Cool. So it's having those people that are involved in that space, fully understanding what the implications are for you, first and foremost. So acknowledging what it is for you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think that space was safe enough to do that.
My next piece of the puzzle. So I was about to get into that piece of the puzzle. So it has to be a place in which you feel safe, emotionally safe. I'm not talking about physically because you're a reasonably good sized guy, so I can't imagine it's a physical thing. It's more an emotional, psychological thing where you feel psychologically safe to be able to be. And I'm not talking about flipping the switch here. I'm not talking about just being and all of a sudden you just got to deal with it. I'm talking about I'm feeling uncomfortable. I need to talk you through this. This is what I need right now. Can we just step slowly here through this part? Or, hey, I'm feeling like this. I really need you to hear how I'm feeling and my emotions. Can we really walk through this together in regards to what it may be? And it takes someone that's got the strength to be able to help you do that. And I'm not talking about them doing the work for you. I'm talking about for you to feel psychologically safe. So that now, and it needs to stop at a certain level because you can't just keep going deeper and deeper. Otherwise, it will not be instilled in your brain. It's stopping at a point where you feel, okay, I'm good. I'm still feeling overwhelmed, but it's okay. It's better than whatever has been. It probably won't be perfect. And then stepping away from it again and going, it was a good stepping stone. We've moved in the right direction now, and I feel a bit more comfortable about it. And then it just takes time of stepping through that pathway to get you to a point where you go, okay, I can trust this person fully or this environment fully, and the outcome of this happening is no longer this traumatic experience anymore. It's no longer attached to that sense of everything's going to collapse, or that sense of I need to be grumpy and angry because it's and trauma is such a hard one to deal with because our brain's so quick to flip the switch and go, but it will be, and it could be, and what if? And we
and the unfortunate thing is that it was even as an adult.
So we've got to unpick all that as well, right?
And the ego is proven right again.
Mm-hmm. Self-fulfilling prophecies.
That's when it's really tough.
Yep, self-fulfilling prophecies.
Not in this case, no.
No, so you don't put things in the framework in your.
No,
in your
I
part.
totally get where you're going. So if you think about, I don't know where I just saw it recently. This thing about the scar study. I mentioned it in my last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They put a scar on somebody, but then before they went out, they told them, "Oh, we're gonna put the scar on. You know, this is not an unscarred person, but we're gonna put the scar. We're gonna show you a mirror what you look like, and then we're gonna have you walk out into a group of people and see how they react to you. But before they walk out, they basically take the scar off. So the scar was never on to start with. I mean, it was, but
I get what I'm saying. Yeah, I do.
And so they had basically self-fulfilled prophecies on how people would treat them based on the scar on their face. I get what you're saying.
Yep.
That's not the case here. Unfortunately, we just had some bad actors involved.
Okay.
And just, you know, it is what it is. You can't always predict human behavior, right? And there's always going to be people out there with.
So what I guess I'm pretty confident what's going to happen. We're going to talk about this off here, but I guess it's what's attached to that feeling of like the environment being created. So currently, something has gone wrong, and it's caused an abrupt reaction from you because it's caused external pressures, right? It's put a light onto you in regards to as a person, in regards to, I don't know the context, so whether it's not capable of doing your job, whether it's being not capable as a person, whether your skill set's not what it matches, imposter syndrome, falsities, fake, all those sort of things, whatever it might be. And then that gets put on top of you. So now you've got to understand those pressures that are on top of you. Why do you feel the way you feel about those pressures? Like, why does it make you feel like you need to go inside yourself to go, I'm angry and grumpy at this? Like, what's attached to that? Like, why is that piece of the puzzle there? Why can't it just be like, whatever, like, it's not on me? Or not that extreme, but like, why can't it be over the top and actually this doesn't affect me? Like, it's so hard with that
it's
context.
Probably where it needs to go, but
that's where it should be.
I guess
I want to understand why you get so.
If things aren't right, they're not right. They're not morally or ethically right. They're not morally or ethically right. At the same time, as you just said, you know, in the big scheme of things, it's sort of irrelevant.
It is, and then
the things that really triggered me, for the most part, some of them were pretty relevant, but some of them weren't.
And when they create that abruptness in you, do you lean back to yourself in regards to what? So take all the noise away, take all the environment away. What do I believe in right now? And how do I articulate that to a point where people understand how I feel without like losing the plot? Because that starts to relieve some trauma as well, because now all of a sudden people understand.
So that's the problem. And that's what my wife says. She goes, you know, as soon as you lose the plot, you can be right.
Context
you can hold the moral ground. Doesn't matter.
On deaf ears.
Yeah.
You can't pull apart a conversation if you're yelling.
Right. Because you lost it. And now
which makes you more grumpy.
Problem.
Because you're like, I just want to be heard. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse.
You're the problem.
Yep. I've been there.
And to be honest, you are part of the problem if you can't keep it under control.
I like that, mate. I'm glad you've acknowledged that, because for me, the hardest part for me with most people I work with is getting them to acknowledge that they are, majority of the time, most of the problem. I'm not saying this is your instance. I'm just saying a lot of the time when people come to work with me, the first part is going, actually, it's mainly me. I'm like, well, yeah, like what you're telling me right now is actually all these things you've done.
Well,
and the reason why it's all collapsed.
It's only me and my reaction to being mistreated. I'll have to qualify that.
You will. But yeah, I mean, it's a really hard balancing point because, and I guess it comes back to, man, I'll always say this is, why are these things being put in your pathway? And if you're in a situation where you can't articulate correctly and it creates this problem where you feel like you need to explode like a volcano, then is this environment the right environment you should be in regardless? And I know there's things in life you can't like predict, but what I'm trying to say is that when that does happen, are you able to actually be yourself? Or do you feel like you can't be because it's going to cause a whole lot of problems? Like that's the balancing point. Like, should you be able to, and I know being the volcano side of things is attached to things that are in the past, which will be dealt with as a separate subject. But if you're in the situation where you feel like you can't even explode and it causes problems, then like, what are you doing in the environment in the first place? Like, and no one obviously wants to have an explosion in regards to like a complete aggressive person that just comes across where you feel like you can't talk, because that doesn't make any situation sense at all. But Yeah, I guess there's probably there's a lot to that. Very hard to answer in a non-contextual way when I have no context to what it actually is. But
Yeah.
it's there's like multiple pieces to it. It's like why you're there in the first place, and when something does happen in that environment and it causes you problems, what's that problem attached to from the past, and then how we deal with that problem in a place. And sometimes you don't even need someone giving you psychological safety. You need to give yourself psychological safety, which is, I will say one thing here, and this is where it's going to stop. I'm not comfortable about this, or this makes me really angry because of these reasons. Permissions granted, you step away from that, and yes, it's not exactly what
As
you
my
want.
wife would say, at that point, then you need to just get up and leave.
Absolutely, because the reason why I can talk about this extensively is because I very much used to be like that. I very much used to be like, no, you're not hearing me. It's my way or the highway, and just be aggressive and be over the top. And it used to be, a lot of it needs to be even not even like based on any foundations. And it's because, growing up, I was never validated for who I was as a person, let alone what I used to do. And it was always like, I need to be the loud person in the room to be heard and listen to me because I'm trying to say something. I want to be validated. I want to be loved. And it came at a cost. It came at a cost multiple times in my life. And it's taken me the maturity to get to where I am now to go, actually, I'm not always right. But the things I lean on when I'm talking to people is, this is my version of events. I have my opinion because of what I've been through and what I've done. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. What I'm saying is this is how I feel and this is what I see. Challenge me on that. I'm happy to listen. Just be honest with who you are as a person. So when you come to the table with that opinion from your side, I can see for you for who you actually are, not some falsely made up bullshit. Because otherwise, I'm not going to actually want to converse with you because I can see through that. So come as you are. Tell me your opinion, how you feel. And I'll either see straight eye to eye with you or I won't. And that's okay. We don't have to see eye to eye. If I came on the thing with you today and you'd see something I didn't like, I'd tell you. But mate, I don't agree with that at all. And I'd be straight up with you. And that's okay. We don't have to sit here and go, I love you, Kirk. I want to be your best mate. We're two different people. And that's perfectly normal and perfectly okay, because what will then happen is, off the back of this conversation, you'll have a think about what I said then. And you'll go, actually, no, I still disagree with Aaron. And I'm either going to deal with that and going to have a conversation with him about it, or I'm not. And if I'm not, I'll walk away from this. And then you and I, our relationship will go different ways. And we'll become probably more distance from each other, and we'll go on different paths. And that's what I talk about with people.
That's okay too.
Mate, it's hypercritical to be living a life that actually is fulfilled with the things you want to be fulfilled with. It's hypercritical. Because all of a sudden, if you don't say something to me and you hide the fact that you're against me, what's going to happen next time we catch up? There'll be this eerie subject between us that won't fit in the conversation, and I'll be like, something's not right here. And then it'll end up being, regardless, it'll fall apart at some point, or have an argument about it, or someone will go to shit.
Yeah, and I think part of the thing in society today, and actually it was part of this school, he has a nonprofit helping him, and I'm going to totally get it wrong what the nonprofit was. It's in Virginia, and basically it's about conflict resolution.
Yep.
And this nonprofit wanted that to be part of the curriculum of the school. And I told him, oh my God, that's just so important. Conflict resolution with your mates, conflict resolution between you and the teacher, conflict resolution between you and your parents, conflict resolution with whomever, a future employer or a future employee, if you become the boss. And I think it's a skill that it's not part of the most school curriculums, right? And
it's not part of society.
People don't, and it's not part of society, and people don't know how to do what you just said. And it's completely okay for me to disagree with you. And it's okay for us to agree that we disagree. And we don't have to go separate ways. We can stay together and just know
that is the beauty of it, mate. That I can't emphasize enough. That is absolutely the beauty of it. If I disagree with something you've said today, and I'm not going to go against you, I'm just going to say, Kirk, I disagree with that. This is my thoughts. This is how I feel. And I'll articulate it to you in a way in which it makes, at least you can actually understand where I'm coming from. And then you can either challenge me that on the air, like what we're doing right now, or if it doesn't work sense and you can't figure out a way to get past that, then that's fine. But I'll ask you about it afterwards. Hey mate, you brought that subject and it didn't really sit right with me. What was the go behind that? And then you'll be like, this is the reasons why. I'll be like, okay, I actually see it from your point of view now. That makes a whole lot of sense. No, I agree with you now. And I'll go your way, and then we'll come closer, if anything. But if I don't, and we don't agree with that, and I'm like, nah, I'm still hard on my evidence with where I sit right now because of what I've seen, what I've done, whatever it might be. So we can actually disagree on this one here. And it's not going to cause a problem between us because it's just life. And let's be continuing on where we're going. And it can also,
so we can agree at least on one point.
Yeah,
that we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
At least we should be able to, right?
As human beings, when it comes to conversing, when it comes to relationships, absolutely. I think too often people think they should own their relationships, and what I mean by that is and I say this to my wife, my current wife, for people listening. When I stood before, say my vows, like, I don't own her. I don't, like, she's free. She's at free will. Like, if at some point someone comes into her life that can do my job better than I can do for her, grow her and help her grow better than what she currently is, then she's absolutely free to walk out the door. Like, not a problem at all. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. And she struggles with that concept. She's like, "Do you not love me?" And that was a problem in our relationship earlier on. It's no longer a problem now. But I said no. It's actually the opposite of that.
That's the
I love
opposite,
you.
right?
I love you with my whole heart, and I wouldn't want anything else.
I see that end of it. 100%. You actually love her more.
Yeah, I do, because I want the best for her, and if I can't give her everything she needs, I'm not asking enough questions daily to go, what do you need from me? What can I do to help you out? What do you need to grow? What do you need to be a better person? And I can give you those skill sets, or I can help you with those skill sets, or I can make you be a better person with whatever it looks like. As long as it's you and it's what you want to be doing, then I'm all for it. There'll be times I challenge you and you won't like that, because there's the way I see things, and that's healthy. But if I stop doing that, or if someone can do that job better than me, the door's open. And I hope that never happens, because I hope I continue to push her beyond her wildest dreams. But if it happens, I've got to be honest with myself. Like, I haven't done my job. I haven't done what I wanted to do with her, which is make sure she's the best person she can be. And I think that happens in relationships like what we are with you, between you and I. Like, I have a duty of care to you. Like, when I hear things that come out of your mouth which I don't agree with, I should challenge those. I should go, "Do you really believe in what you just said come out of your mouth? Like, where did that come from?" And you go, "Oh, actually, you're right. Why did I just say that?" And then, aren't we better because of it? It's not a negative, it's a positive. It's like, I've heard something that I shouldn't have heard from you, and I challenged that point. You've seen something from a different viewpoint for once, and you've challenged your own viewpoint on it, and now you're a better person because of it.
Am I seeing that clock right?
Yeah. It is 3 hours into this.
All right. Well, Aaron, it's been wonderful. I don't want to keep you too much longer.
No, that's good, mate. It's always the way it is with you and I. We get started and we go on massive tangents, but it's all built around the same thing, mate.
So I'm gonna call it quits tonight. We have Arran Rowley, and the best way to get a hold of you is on your website.
Yep. Website / through LinkedIn,
and through LinkedIn. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Arran, for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome.